TruthSeekah and/or its affiliates are not responsible for any strange phenomena that may occur during or after listening to this podcast, which may include the following: heightened senses of awareness, psychic abilities, UFO sightings, alien contact, time loss, out-of-body experiences, ringing in the ears, ESP, lucid dreaming, increased synchronicities, astral projection, telepathy, stronger intuition, levitation, miraculous healings, and/or remote viewing. Please be advised to listen at your own discretion.
Won't you come and take me away? I just wanna be with you. Won't you come and take me away? To a place to walk on troubled seas, faith to stand when I don't believe. I just wanna be with you. Won't you come and take me away? I just wanna be with you. Won't you come?
You are now locked into the TruthSeekah podcast.
Gargoyles! Psychics! Everything's ungodly! Dark-sided!
Streaming live at truthseekah.com.
She's not a Christian!
Give it up, y'all.
Your portal to the paranormal, esoteric, and all things spiritual.
She's tampering in dark-sided stuff!
And now, your host, TruthSeekah.
Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm your host, TruthSeekah. This is the TruthSeekah Podcast. Got an excellent show planned for you guys today. Some more conscious conversations. You know what we like to do. Got to drop some news right quick on you guys. I just released a new video to my song Alpha. So I released a new song and video yesterday to my song Alpha. What does Alpha mean? Well, you got to listen to the song to actually understand it. You'll find out at the end. Video that we did this past weekend. It's pretty cool. I need to do a whole podcast probably breaking down those song lyrics and that video, because the video is pretty near and dear to my heart. Some of the scenes and some of the instances in there, I want to give a full probably episode on the song and the video, but a lot of that stuff is really near and dear to my heart. I pulled some of it out of my dreams some years ago and pulled it out of the dream, put it in a video. Others was like some theories and stuff that we used to talk about as kids. And I took that and put it in the video, and really cool stuff. So make sure you go to the website, truthseekah.com. It's on YouTube, all that good stuff. The new song Alpha is out to promote the new album, which is dropping April 20th, 4/20. The new album entitled Seer. The pre-order is available for that. It's going to be 12 unreleased tracks. You guys can check that out, and there's a pre-order contest and some other cool stuff that we're doing there. We're going to be giving away some stuff with the pre-orders. I'm going to be autographing every copy that is sold before the album comes out. You get digital downloads early, all that good stuff. Also on 4/20, we're doing an album release party. The album release party will be in Mobile, Alabama. And if any of you guys want to travel down here and get a chance to meet me and hang out with me for the night, you guys can do that. April the 20th. Look into the hotel rooms and all that good stuff. I got friends driving all the way from Orlando to be here, and I'm reading in the comments. They're already holding it down. Chris Bars, him and his family's coming from Orlando, driving 8 hours to be here for the concert. So looking forward to that. The concert is free, so if you pay for transportation to be here and get you a hotel room, the concert is free. You don't even have to buy a ticket. Come here and spend this time with us and hang out. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be at a house show, actually. House shows are awesome. Used to play in a lot of hardcore metal bands, and we play huge auditoriums, and it was always fun, but it's different when you get to be in a house. If you got 70 people in an auditorium, they're all spaced out. There's room in between. People are walking around. Even though 70 people is a pretty good bit, in a big auditorium, it doesn't seem like a lot. But if you get 70 people in a house show or in a coffee shop and everybody's shoulder to shoulder, man, it makes for the best concert. So it's going to be funny. It's been years since I did a house show. April the 20th. Make sure you guys check out all the info at truthseekah.com. I'd love to hang out with you guys. Speaking of the new album that's available, everybody who's supporting on Patreon, you guys already have the album. You've had it for months now, most likely. So every time I get done with the song, I upload it to Patreon. And so there, for anybody who's supporting my work through Patreon, you get access to my entire discography, all the new music that I'm working on. Every time my song's done, it goes up there. Unreleased podcast, all kind of cool stuff that we're putting up there with the community. At patreon.com/TruthSeekah. If you guys want to support, you could do so that way. That's the best way to support my work. Patreon, even if it's $1 a month. If you can commit to $1, I got 14,000 Facebook friends. If they could do $1 a month, would be way more than enough. We could do some awesome stuff, man. So I will say thank you to everybody who's supporting. One of the newest patrons, just I think yesterday or the day before, Casey Almaker. Thank you for coming on, Casey, and joining the squad there with us, joining the community. You get access to all kind of cool stuff. Casey Almaker, thank you for joining. Also, want to address this. I got some donations recently. Some people who can't commit to a monthly fee or whatever, even $1 a month, $5 a month. Sometimes you're in places where that's a sacrifice, right? So I do get from time to time donations, and I want to say thank you to a couple people. I'm still in this weird in-between place right now. I'm transitioning from working a full-time job, having a consistent paycheck every week. That was a pretty good paycheck, to now I'm living off of donations, and I'm living off of the money that I make off of my music, which isn't a lot. It is an in-between place. It is a scary place. So I'm in a place where I'm having to not lean upon my own understanding and trust in faith that I'm here for a reason, and it's not to bag groceries or drive a truck, right? I understand that. So with that being said, there's this trust thing that goes on even for me, like all of the stuff that I'm sharing with you guys. I've been open about my experience, and so I have a family. I have to keep these lights on and stuff like that. The podcast is free to consume. It's not free to produce. So the donations and stuff like that, it goes a long way. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. With that being said, I want to say thank you to David Combs and his family. They've been listening for a long time, and he felt led to give a generous donation. Thank you so much, and it's coming at a time where it's very much needed. And so thank you so much, David Combs and your family, Stephen Dickman as well, and Tyler Hunt. Thank you guys for your donations this past couple of days. It's gone a long way. Every little bit counts. Thank you guys so much. With that being said, that's what I do. That's all the promo stuff I got for you guys. New album, new video. I got an awesome show planned for you guys today. I'm going to be speaking with Dorian, a.k.a. Realm Renegade. What's going on, my brother? Welcome to the podcast.
What's going on, Truth? Yo,
Hey.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Excited to be on here. This is actually my first official type of podcast that I'm on, which is tight. I've kind of kept my voice silent in regards to the internet or the digital dimension for quite some time. I've been out here in the physical and the third, always trying to spread truth and knowledge, expand consciousness. Always been out here in the third, but I figured, now's the time, since we're in a consciousness shift, big time consciousness shift. And I know that there's many that feel it, many that are waking up to it as well. And it's time, to provide some keys as well. Each time, each one of us who's, awakened or waking up to the things that are really going on, and the veils being dropped, and, your consciousness being aligned with higher frequencies or higher dimensions to allow you to see other realms and higher realms. Once you start waking up to these types of things and you start talking about them, it provides a key, and it provides a key to the collective consciousness. And I appreciate you having me here on the show to provide one of these keys, so that we can all, as a collective, find out what's really going on and change this planet, or raise the vibration, raise the frequency of our consciousness and of this planet, so we can do the things that we can do, the abilities that we have. But we've been suppressed for quite some time, so I appreciate you having me on the show once again, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, brother. Bless, man. that's what this show's about. And you've embodied the platform. It's just essentially, I have something. This is my story. Whatever it means to you, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you can take from it, do it. I've done that with my story and all the guests that I have on here, and it's helping people. It's resonating with people, man. So thanks for coming on. When we're talking about spiritual awakening, there's a lot that we can talk about, and we were just, I mean, you know what I'm saying? We were just going off before we went live. I was like, let me go ahead and click this live button because there's so much to talk about. But instead of jumping into it, let's get into what got you into spirituality, your spiritual awakening. Let's talk about some of those first things that were kind of clicking for you, man.
Definitely. And, you know, that's a great question to kind of ask, and a great topic to jump on, and also a very broad and huge topic to jump on as well that can go many different directions. However, spirituality for me started at a very young age. It's something that, for my experience, has been something that may be different than a lot of people, mainly because of this right here, this mark on my forehead. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Born with it, which led my experience, shaped my experience to be a little different. From the time that I can remember, that I can look back, which I can go back to the time I was 2 years old. That's as far back as I can go. I can account experiences from the time that I was 2 on up. Mm-hmm. And when I say that I can account for them, I mean vividly. I can put myself back there. Now, ever since I was very young, this mark right here has brought a lot of attention to my experience. It's brought a lot of attention, but it's also expelled or rejected a lot of people as well, opposed a lot of people. Where I found spirituality is a long, different type of a path that went in a bunch of different areas to eventually bring me back to this, where I'm at now. However, just to give you maybe a long Cliff Note version, and you know, maybe you'll find some topics within there that you would want to jump on as well, because many different topics can be extrapolated on. However, long story short, my father died when I was 3 years old. He got murdered. My mom was a junkie her whole life. So, you know, I ended up taking care of my brothers, my 3 younger brothers at the time, and my mother. There was a Kingdom Hall that was right next to us. So I grew up, plus my grandparents. I grew up a Jehovah's Witness. You feel me? So when I grew up in that particular faith, I tried to make that faith my own. I, you know, dug heavy into the Bible. Then, like I said, my mom was a junkie. She was an alcoholic. So I was 5, 6, 7 years old, still putting on a shirt and tie and getting my brothers dressed and going over to the Kingdom Hall or the church, you know, for worship. And I would get my brothers dressed like this 3 times a week. You know, so I always had a pull to something bigger. However, I always had questions. Even when I was a young boy, I had questions in regards to some of the things that I was learning. Some of the things just didn't make common sense to me that I was learning. But I still try to make it my own. Fast forward a little bit through many different types of experiences because of this that led people to me, different types of religious figures, different types of people of different types of belief systems would come to me, speak to me about my birthmark, or as ones would tell me, the mark that I placed upon my head at a previous time, previous to this lifetime. And, you know, I'd be receiving all different types of information and conflicting type of ideologies based upon what this mark was. I'd have people, Hindustan and Buddhists and shamans, come up to me and speak to me about about this mark, you know, and talk to me about an energy within inside of me that I don't even know that I have. And I'd have these types of experiences. Mind you, imagine being 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, a little child, and having these types of experiences while you're still trying to think that you're doing the right thing, going and, you know, following that particular type of religious path and everything like that. But you're hearing conflicting information all around you all the time. And I was having experiences. The one experience that I had was when I was 13 years old. This was the game changer for me, because you had mentioned you were in bands and everything like that as well. I've always been involved with, the punk and hardcore scenes as well. And Warped Tour, when I was 13 years old, I snuck out because my grandmother ended up taking me and my brothers in when I was 10 years old. And she was, she's still here. She's still here with us, but she's very, very religious. And blinders on in regards to, her particular faith. And, so she was very strict, and I wasn't allowed to do, a lot of worldly type of things. However, I still did all of the worldly type of things. I was, going to shows and involved with people that, my grandmother wouldn't typically, approve of and everything like that. And I was, riding BMX and being involved with, people that sponsored and pros and everything like that. Everything that I've done where it shaped me, I've always been involved with professionals of that particular area. You feel me? However, I went to Warped Tour. I'll never forget, I was walking to get to the main stage. And as I was walking there, I saw a gentleman in all white. And he was wearing like a Raiden style hat. It was a rice hat. All white, staff in hand, book in hand. As I was walking past, I saw him and I was just drawn to him. This is out of the ordinary to have a gentleman like this at a show. You have everybody dressed the way that they're dressed. This was in I was 13 years old. So I saw him, and as I was walking past, here's the stage over here in front of me, and the gentleman is over to the right of me. So I'm walking towards the stage as I'm veering off to the right, just my energy just gravitating towards him. So I eventually just made my way over to him, and he said hello, and he said he felt my energy. And he said, "In the mark that you have on your head," he said it like this, "Yes, and the mark that you have on your head, I've been waiting for you." Now, 13 years old.
And then the acid wore off, and it was a.
Well, here's the thing, bro. I'm straight edge. You know what I'm saying? I've been straight edge all the way up until. I played straight edge all the way up until 8 months ago. 8 months ago, life completely changed again.
Yeah.
And I was heavily involved with straight edge and crews and everything like that. So
it's okay not to drink. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was talking to me like this, and yes, I've been waiting for you, and in a way that you don't hear cats speak. You feel me? I had a feeling within me that was just like, yo, what the heck is going on right now? And so he started speaking to me about the energy within inside of me. And he said that one day I'm going to know, and one day I'm going to affect a lot of people with the energy that's inside of me. And he said, there's no coincidence that you bear the mark. And I'm just like, what the heck? And he pulls out in the book that he had while he was speaking to me, he put it into this big pocket that he was wearing as he was wearing a cloak, pulled the book back out. And that book, leather bound, looked old. At this time, my mindset was still like, this is a cult, this is demonized, this is that, shunning it, And he handed it to me and he said, this is for you. And I said, hey, no, I appreciate it, but I gotta go check out this band over here. I went to go shake his hand. I reached out my hand and I said, hey, it was nice to meet you. What's your name? And he said, no. He said, I'm not going to interact with you anymore in this dimension. He said, we'll meet again at another time. And that was it. My friend
I need to know his name.
Yo, here's the thing. I told you about my memory. It's very vivid. I can go back to the time I was 2 years old. I can remember faces. If I seen somebody when I was 3 years old, you better believe that they crossed my path again in this experience. It's a weird thing that happens. Different energy types always revolving back around, almost as if it's on a Fibonacci energy type of a sequence. Always different energy types depending on where my life is at, comes back around. It's a strange thing, but I can always remember these faces. This gentleman, I can't tell you a thing about his face.
Wow.
Not one thing. You feel me?
Yeah.
And there's been other experiences like this as well in regards to the similar type of dialogue. A person that has this type of a weird type of an energy that I cannot describe anymore, that I was drawn to it and I felt it. And it was a peculiar type of an interaction.
Yeah.
I've had it multiple times throughout my life, and I can't remember the face.
That's insane, bro. I'm talking about the name because, like, I had a similar interaction as well. But I remember this guy's name. He told me his name. His name was Aaron. And very similar encounter. I'm driving. I'm actually in my work truck driving a couple years. Say a couple years. It's been at least 10 years. I'm driving, and I'm on the side going down the road, and I see this dude walking in full garments, like he's on side the road with a big bag, robes on, hoodie. He's like this hooded figure, and I'm like, big beard. I'm like, it's Moses or Elijah. Like I had to turn around.
Out of something you would see out of a science, like out of a movie, a biblical movie or something, or what your mind would think as like what you would think of as a shaman or a holy man type of a thing to that T.
Yeah. So I drove past him, and I was like, that's crazy. And I went a couple miles. I was like, I have to go back. There's no way that being into what I'm into, I have to go talk to this man. So I turned around and went and talked to him, and I pulled up next to him and said, hey man, what's your story, man? What's going on? He says, hey man, it's all Jesus, brother. I'm just on this path. This is the path he called me to. And I was like, oh, that's what's up, man. And I just felt led to give him all the money I had in my pocket, which wasn't a lot. I think it was $60. I was like, look, I'm going to bless you, my brother here. Just going to buy you dinner, whatever you need. He's, I'm a traveling man. He's, oh, thank you, brother. Thank you. And I went to give him my sandwich. I had a sandwich in my case or whatever. He's like, no, brother, I don't eat meat. The Lord's got me not eating meat right now. I said, brother, it's peanut butter and jelly. He said, oh, okay. I haven't had peanut butter and jelly in a long time. And he took the sandwich and stuff. And I was like, I prayed with him right quick, and he blessed me, and I told him bye. And I left, and I'm like, can't quit thinking about this dude. And I was like, man, I wish, like, I'm on the clock. I have a route to run and stuff, and I can't just go back. So I'm telling everybody about him the next day. Oh, I met this dude. He was in all white, and he's an old man. It might have been somebody out the Bible, bro. I don't know. And I'm just telling everybody. And then we go out to do ministry. The day after that, we was going to go set up in the projects and bring our sound system and stuff and just start doing our music and preaching and stuff. And we go out there. I'm telling it, we got this huge van, and we stop at the gas station. I'm telling everybody, we're filming it. We got this on camera. We're filming it. We walk inside to pay for the gas. Walking out holding a cup of coffee. It's the same dude.
There he is. That's how it goes.
Hey, brother. I said, hey, this is the guy. It was in a totally different city, actually. I've seen him in a different city. And I gave him a big hug and said, hey, this is the guy I was telling y'all about. And told him what we were doing. I was like, we're going to do ministry in the ghetto, man. You want to come? He's like, sure, bro. And he got in with us, and everybody's just like weirded out. This prophet guy, big beard. I took him anyway. We went and we did ministry all day, hung out, did music, loved on people, gave out Bibles and stuff. And then he came back, and we went to eat with us, and I let him come stay with me. My wife and daughter was out of town. I was just being the guys for the weekend. I said, hey, come stay with us. So he come and stay with us. We watched the Spirit World documentary, which is an amazing documentary. You're talking about a spiritual awakening. Definitely watch Spirit World by Chris Everett. We watched that and fellowship with this dude, and man, it was just this otherworldly encounter hanging with this guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's not. And
you can feel it, right?
We gave him a CD.
Something different,
You can feel it. We gave him a CD. 6 months later, we're doing a show out of town. We get a phone call. Somebody's crying. Hey, bro. Oh, man, you guys, man, it's something about your music. I don't know what it is, man, but I just want to thank you guys for your music. God bless you. Your music changed my life. I don't even know who it is. He said, man, there was this traveling man named Aaron. He gave me your CD, and it changed my life. I was like, oh, my God. Like
Right,
all things
right.
work together, man. The CD we blessed him with when he left, he gave it to somebody, dude, and he's just traveling. It's just like I
Full
got
circle,
chills,
man. The energy
talking
came
about
right
this
back
stuff,
around.
man. God, it's
Yeah,
so
it's-
beautiful, man. Yeah,
It's a wild thing how that works, man, and I'm starting to realize that it works like that every time. You feel me?
Yeah.
You know how we always hear, you know, we create our own reality
Yeah.
and this and that. There's something wild that happens, you know, when you interact with somebody and you interact with somebody off of good intention
Yeah.
or bad intention. There's something that happens, you know, they use the words like karma and things like that, but there's forces at play that make things come back around and make things happen. It works like that.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
These are things that we are not taught. What we're taught how money, falsely, how the fiat currency system
Yeah.
works. You know, we're taught how to be slaves, actually, to be honest with you. But we're not taught the things that actually make this world run and work. We're not taught. You know, so now is really a time that we've got mediums of all sorts. We're speaking through a medium right now. So all of the things that we used to be able to do, you know, back in the day, but before the deception, if I wanted to speak to you, Truth, I'd be like, yo, Truth, I'm speaking to you right now, you know, through the
Yeah.
telepathy.
Yep.
And we'd be able to exchange downloads and information and everything like that from a telepathy standpoint. But now we're not able to do that. Even just the word telepathy is demonized, you know, and these are natural and natural things that we have the abilities to do, and they're not bad.
Yeah.
It's just the same way as we speak these words, bro. And, you know, we see with these eyes, we've got other senses within us that we're able to communicate and make things work as well, you know, through the
Yeah.
use of energy and everything like that. But yeah, but what you're saying, man, that energy comes right back around. There's things that happen, bro. There's things that are at play.
Yeah, and that's those things that happen, talking about spiritual awakening, that you know something's going on. And I like
Right.
to preface it like, I don't actually know everything that's going on. It's what I do know is enough to blow my freaking mind and
Yeah.
make me want to know more. I'll say that
course.
much. I know a lot, but I can't say, okay, this is what this is. This is who they are. These aliens that are watching over us, they're from this star system. They're fighting with these guys. I don't know what I don't know that stuff, but there's
Right.
something happening, man, and it's enough to let you know that some God, universal consciousness, is watching over us. It's a loving energy if we tap into it. It
Yes.
sustains us. It gives us peace and long suffering, and we can, man. It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It really is. Whatever anybody wants to call it.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing, and we can just embody the whole thing under just saying, you know, spirituality or conscious, you know. But what it is or what happens, and when you're tapped into it, it's a thing that almost your words can't describe unless you see it yourself. And we're at a time now that a lot of people are starting to wake up and starting to open up that eye just a little bit, maybe starting to open up the other one and starting to say, holy cow, like
Yeah.
what is going on,
Yeah.
you know? And there's things that are going on. You had asked a question about my spirituality though, and I had told you just an experience, but where things, you know, started ramping up. And like I said, man, we could go on for hours and hours and hours. So if you want to ever have me back on it
Yeah.
again, you know, we could dive deep on all types of stuff. And, you know, any of your followers or if anybody, you know, wants to speak on some things as well, you know, that's what we're doing, right?
Mhm.
We're raising the awareness, building the consciousness so that eventually, you know, the collective consciousness can accept, you know, raising this vibration.
Yeah.
And living life differently than the way that we're living it now. Because what we think is freedom is not what anybody thinks that it is. You know, we've been stuck in a slave system, and we're moving into a new slave system. We're in a paradigm shift right now, you know.
Yeah.
But, and that's something that we could touch on. But I wanted to let you know, because we were talking about how the energy moves and it comes back around, and just the strangeness or how that works. You know, especially with spiritual awakening and everything like that. When I was 15 years old, and this is kind of where things even still just swam my life through, put me in positions and places that are mind blowing. When I was 15, my grandmother remarried. And when she remarried a person that was finally good. So good to our family, because from the time that I was 2 till I was 15, pretty much it was just me taking care of my brothers. Even though my grandmother took care of us, it was just us on our own. You know what I'm saying? And us trying to make it through, battling the legal system as far as them trying to put us into, foster care and all types of things, So, and then also going through a bunch of abuse and things like that through my childhood. Finally, when I was 15, things were at yes, this is a little take a deep breath. Like finally, things might be able to be relaxed a little bit. Well, the person that my grandmother remarried, his father was Admiral of the United States, of the Navy. You know what I'm saying? Third chain in command. He's in the history books, everything like that.
Huh.
Big time. So saved his crew in Pearl Harbor, saved St. Louis and everything like that. Did stuff big time with Vietnam, how he backed out of Vietnam. He's in the history books and everything. However, we'd go over there for family dinner on Sundays. And when we'd go over there, family dinners would be long. They'd be 4 or 5 hours long. And it would be him speaking. When he'd speak, everyone would be like silence. The Admiral speaks, and the dinner table, 25 seats long, with two maids serving food. This is not normal, in a humongous mansion on an estate that, property of 150 acres, with a big, huge mansion that they call Appledore, because in England they were part of a big mages guild that they have. So, and the whole land there was water witched. And so I would learn the history of this land, the land that even this house was on, and why they were calling it Appledore. But I would speak to my, I would call my Opa, because it's German for grandfather. So I would speak to my Opa, and I would listen intently to the things that he was saying. And he would talk about, Pearl Harbor, and he would talk about these types of things. And he had pictures and artifacts of that time and everything like that, and would tell me what really went down. He would tell me some things that really went down. And, he's high level. Not only that, but say the property is 150 acres. The next adjacent property to that was, what type of names are we allowed to drop on the show without getting in trouble? I'm not going to say anything incriminating. Okay.
Yeah.
So across the street, or a part of the adjacent to the property, was Governor Tom Ridge. Governor Tom Ridge is the one who created the Department of Homeland Security after 9/11 went down. You feel me? George Bush's right-hand man. Across the street, that's where I live. I lived across the street from this homie. So during the time, 9/11 happened when I was 16, but during that time, and the news would be talking about things and everything, they would talk about Governor Tom Ridge being with George Bush here and this and that. I would know when they were lying, because a Secret Service van would be 2 buildings down from where I lived, which was a shoddy paint store in a residential area. Doesn't belong. But, Secret Service van, watching his house. I would know when he was home because of the specific type of vehicles that would be around. And so I started noticing that, hey, the news is lying. The things that they're talking about, very simple lies, but they're lying. The things that I'm hearing from my great-grandfather or my Opa is contradictory to what I'm learning in school and social studies. So I started piecing all these things together. And I started seeing a lot of things firsthand, because the people that were involved with my great-grandfather of higher caliber, I started being associated with. You feel me? And ones of different societies. And so I started having my eye open to some things that people wouldn't normally see. And when I'm talking about secret societies, I'm talking, Freemasonry and everything like that. I started seeing things. Typically, somebody gets involved with Freemasonry, they're getting involved with like a traveler or, somebody who they know, who gets them in, gets them to know, introduce the people and kind of go through the degrees and indoctrinations and everything like that. I'm dealing with people who were already at the higher levels. the higher degrees. I'm seeing things that typically people wouldn't normally see. So my eyes started becoming way open to these types of things. And not only were they open to those types of things, but I was trying to understand spirituality and understand the Bible. So I'm starting to get research or information in regards to things that are going on in the world that are completely different than anything I'm learning. And then, I'm growing up a Jehovah's Witness, but I'm getting all different types of information from other areas. So I'm like, what the heck? I need to figure this all out. So from the time I was 16, 17, and then towards the end of being 17 to 18, that's when I was just for a good 2 years, just really trying to hone everything in. I put 5 different Bibles in front of me. King James Version, New International Version. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The King James, I put the
Amplified.
Quran in front of me. Yeah, the Edamon. I put the Catholic Encyclopedia in front of me, and the Wikipedia for any words I didn't understand or know.
Yep.
And I started to go to work. You feel me? Page one. Read. You know what I'm saying? Devoted every freaking night, 2 hours, 3 hours a night, just into the book, into the work, really trying to figure this out. And when you start doing that, you start to learn that, hey, they're all pretty similar. You know what I'm saying? Different words might be sprinkled here and there, but they're all pretty similar. Words that we use don't mean what we say. You feel me?
Yeah.
I started realizing, dang, you know what? The words now started going into the Edamon. You start going into the Edamon and start realizing the words that we speak, what they really mean. When you start to understand that, then the book that we're reading or that we're living our life by starts to change.
That's good. Yeah. You
feel me?
Yeah.
So I started doing all of that until finally I said, I'm done. Like every single thing that I've learned that I know, because I started speaking to, ones in the congregation, the elders in the congregation. I started speaking to the priests, Catholic priests and pastors at Christian churches. There's this organization in my school that was like a Christian type of organization that kids get together and youth. It's called Youth Life.
Yeah.
I started talking to the cats in Youth Life. I started asking questions, and they're telling me things that aren't even in the Bible. I asked about the Nephilim, and that's not in the Bible.
Not in my Bible. That's how they say it. It's not in my Bible.
Not my Bible.
Yes, it is.
Not in my Bible. And then I say, what Bible is yours? King James.
Yeah.
Okay, right here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like everything. There was nobody to speak to.
Yeah.
There was nobody. You know what I'm saying? Conflicting information.
And then they start talking about you. Yeah, stay away from that guy. We're praying for him. So you're like, God, you're like
right.
burning all your bridges.
I then became silent. I shut my mouth and I said, you know what? I'm done. I left home because I realized that my brothers were going to be okay. We had a rough childhood growing up. That's a whole different other subject we can go on at another time. But I left home, and when I left home, I, was heavy into the hardcore scene. That's where I felt like I belonged, So I was traveling the country with music and with heavy music. So, along with that lifestyle, which you said that you were in metal bands and things, with that lifestyle, comes along the violence and everything like that as well. And I was in a crew. I was in a worldwide crew that's very big, which probably associates with cats that you even know. But I was, even though I lived that particular lifestyle.
What was the name of your crew? Because we're not too far away from each other.
Right. So I was involved with a crew called Swing on Sight Family, SOSF 59. We used to be real tight with a crew that was FSU, Friends Stand United, which there was a big, huge war between the two of our crews.
Have you ever heard of the DKC?
100% Dead Kitten crew. I know cats in that crew. A lot of those cats in Florida and everything like that. Yeah, all those cats converted over to a different crew that I know all those crews. Those kids, some of those cats saved my life. And that's also another reason why of the spiritual awakening, and what really allowed me to travel the astral realms was that particular scenario where I got jumped in the middle of the streets when I was, riding heavy in this gang life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's what it is. And got
it's
jumped
legit,
out in the
man. Those dudes don't play.
Right.
They start a lot of trouble too.
Yeah. So, I had my teeth blasted out. My nose shattered. The roof of my mouth, or the bridge of my nose was through the roof of my mouth. My orbit broken.
Oh my God.
Beat down in the middle of the street. Stomped on the back of my head. Like I said, my teeth blown out. That's also another story that if you wanted to know the details, we could go into that at some point, because it's very important to what happened. And like I said, this podcast is all over the place because there's a lot of information to give. Yeah. However, I took the last blow to the back of my head. When I took that last blow to the back of my head, it was a stomp. Lights out. I didn't pass out. What I did was, as soon as I took the hit, the flash happened.
Yeah.
And when that flash happened, I said, Derek, Nate, Gabe, Grandma, Hannes, that's my family. I said, I love y'all. I'm out. And that was really the first time that I actually even said, I love you.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, I grew up in a household in a way that we weren't really expressive in regards to love. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Never even hugged my grandma until
definitely.
I was like 22 years old, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that was after, I saw my grandma for the first time in like 2.5 years after I was gone, you know? But regardless, to go back to taking that last blow to the head, I said, I'm out. I love y'all. I'm out. I thought I was done. You feel me? Immediately when I said that, I could, from the point of me being 2 years old, all the way back from that moment, all the way forward to that very moment of me taking that blow to my head, I lived my life all over again. 100% all over again. So I was 27 years old at that time. So 27 years relived. You feel me? Some people don't understand the weight of what I'm saying there. The hundredth of a second of taking the blow to my head, I lived 27 years all over again. A full 27 years. And then at that point, I saw myself on the ground. I saw everything happening from a high level view, as if I was an observer. You feel me?
Yeah.
I was an observer. I was not in my physical body, but my consciousness was observing what was going on. It's a wild thing. Now, when that happened, I remember 100%. I said, you know what? Dang, that's messed up. Like, dang, that's messed up. Just getting beat down in the middle of the street like this, and I didn't even have a chance to defend myself. That's messed up. I don't want to go out like that. And bam, next thing I know, I'm getting picked up. I got picked up from a few Dead Kitten crew cats. Well, they were in DKC then because they had patched over into a different club.
Yeah.
So picked me up, scooped me up. And at that time, then a lot of chaos in the middle of the street. Okay. Police came, everything like that. Long story short, that was the first time that I can recall ever exiting my body in that way. All right. Now, a year and a half ago, I was in Las Vegas, and this was when I was still involved with the crew as well, because I left the crew about a year ago, and it's also the time that I left a whole bunch of other things. But I left the crew about a year ago. But a year and a half ago, I was in Vegas. Similar thing happened. I took a blow to my face, which gave me a floating facial fracture. That's where I had to break from ear all the way across the ear. God. It broke because where I got hit, it broke my nose. The bridge went through my.
Was in another fight?
Yeah, this is another scenario, another circumstance, crew related, obviously.
Yeah.
But that broke my face. When that happened, as soon as I took the hit, happened again. Bam. High level view. I was the observer. Saw myself on the ground. And I said, all right, I remember this. Mm-hmm. I remember being here. I remember this feeling. I remember my consciousness at this particular frequency.
You got a frame of reference now.
That's right. So from there I said, okay, I remember being here. What can I do here? Let me look around a little bit. So I started what I felt like was looking around. And what I started looking around at was, here was my everything here, the building that I was in, me on the ground, face broken. And it's almost as if time stood still and I was outer body, and I said, okay, what can I do from here? I looked behind me as if I was going to look over my shoulder, and I was in literally an area of nothingness. It was complete darkness, as if you closed your eyes and your imagination was not going, and it was just dark. And I was still conscious though. So I said, okay, I'm in an area of nothingness, but yet it felt like everything, if that makes sense. That was an area of nothing, but it felt like everything. Mm-hmm. And from there I said, what can I do? I rose my hand up. Well, at that time I thought, okay, I'm going to raise my hand up, but it was nothingness. I didn't even have a body there. But as soon as I said, I'm going to raise my hand up, my hand rose up. And as I did that, literally a building rose up from nothingness, rose up. And then I swiped my hand. This was like on some Mickey Mouse and Fantasia type of stuff. Swiped my hand, and then as if a veil had dropped, and then it's like I created a whole city. So from there I said, I can do whatever I want. And I started just building, making a city, making a lake, like literally doing whatever my imagination wanted to create was being created. What seems like I was there maybe 2 years of what I was able to accomplish and what I was actually starting to formulate in my mind. What seemed like a couple of years, I said, oh, I need to get back. I got scared. And so I went back, and then I got picked up again. My one brother in the crew at the time, picked me up and was like, dude, oh my God, are you all right? This and that. My teeth were blown out and everything like that. And long story short, that was the second time that happened. So from there, and we're getting on to astral projection then, because from there, that's when literally for a good 4 months, all that I would do every single day was I would get when I would meditate, because I really started getting into spirituality, even though I've always been and known spirituality and everything like that. I really started getting into deep meditation. I started getting into listening to binaural beats. I stopped listening to music, the type of music that I was always listening to. Yeah. Well, even the hip hop and everything like that. Yeah. Everything that I was into, I stopped. Just because I felt like, okay, all of this music that I'm listening to, what's it doing for me? It's entertainment, yeah, but what's it doing for me and my consciousness? And I said, it's not doing much right now. So I stopped and I started meditating and started getting to myself because I wanted to go back to where I had projected to. So in meditation, I would always think about it. I would be trying a bunch of different meditation techniques, trying to clear my mind, just like you would hear when in these meditation techniques, or think about some different things and this and that. None of these things were working for me. Too much noise, too much chaos going on in my mind. Now, we talked about the mark that I have on my forehead. There's another thing that I was born with, and that is I have a ringing in my ears that never stops. Never. I've been to the doctor about it. Went through sleep studies in regards to a few of these types of things as well. That inner ear type of high frequency pitch that I have that's never stopped. When I would get into states of meditation, I would be able to clear out a bunch of noise, but I would never be able to clear out that high pitch. Yeah. So it would never allow me to go into a full state of meditation, because that was always becoming a nuisance or annoying to me, hearing that ringing. I've become really good at just putting it in the background and amplifying everything else. Yeah. So in meditation,
except when you're quiet and it just takes over and it gets crazy loud. Over. Yeah, it's weird. I have it too. Yeah.
It's the equivalent of like if you're a video game player playing like Call of Duty or something like that. You throw a flashbang and bam, that high pitch frequency. That's what I have, and it never stops. So in meditation, it came to me. The voice that you hear in your head, it said, you're always trying to tune this sound out. Why don't you tune it in? So in meditation, I started tuning that sound in, and I made it the most amplified sound, and I drowned everything out. Yeah. When I did that, bam, I went back, and I projected back to where I was at. back to the same area of where I created all these buildings and city and landscape and everything. I was there. I was back.
Wow.
And I said, okay, now I'm here. What can I do from here? And I started meditating from there, like Inception, a meditation within a meditation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And from there, that's when everything changed. And then, bam, when that happened, I was in an area that all that I can describe was energy. That because when I came out of it, all that I could say was it's just energy. What I would perceive as energy or light, balls of light, orbs, or anything like that, I know that I would see it and perceive it. And then I know that things happened that allowed either my imagination or I would receive a download that would let me distinguish what these types of energies were. That makes any type of sense.
Yeah.
So I was in a place or a realm that was, these eyes can't see or distinguish as physical. Things weren't physical. However, they become physical when you think about them and then you talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So I started in this realm, I started receiving mass amounts of information. And when I say mass amounts of information, the only way that I could describe it is as downloads. I would receive mass amounts of downloads. And there was others there. There was other energies there that were doing the same thing. Now, I came back, and when I came back, bro, they talk about the Kundalini rising or all these spiritual awakenings.
Yeah.
That was my true spiritual awakening at that point when I was able to take myself to there, because when I came back, bro, I kid you not, I didn't eat. I didn't eat food physically. And if we can talk about numerology here, because I didn't eat food for 6 days.
Yeah.
For 6 days, I didn't eat. For 6 days, I didn't sleep. Bro, people would ask me, they're like, some people were like, hey, man, you're not looking too good. No, this is not drugs. This is no psilocybin. This was no DMT trip. This is nothing, bro.
I know, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is out of straight meditation, and it just happened.
Yeah.
They talk about the third eye opening and everything like that, clairvoyancy, all the type of spiritual senses and those types of things.
Yeah.
I came out of it, and I kid you not, here in the third, these things became amplified. I'm talking telepathy. I'm talking ESP, extrasensory perception. These things became amplified. And when it happened, bro, I know things changed because I was walking past this store. There was a deck of tarot cards just out, just a deck. I walked past it, and mind you, even still to this point, this was a year ago. Up to that point, I still, even though how open my mind was from many different experiences that I've had throughout life, I still was like, you know what, tarot, occult, heck no.
Yeah.
I walked past the store, and I kid you not, the tarot spoke, bro. I looked at it, and the images just popping out at me.
Yeah.
You feel me? And I took a look at these images, and it was the Rider-Waite deck. And I said, I have to look at this thing. I was just drawn. Because of how I was seeing it. So I looked at it, and I opened it up. I would never even say the word tarot. I opened it up, and I started looking at it, and the images, it was just speaking. And I said, oh my God, these were images that I was seeing when I was in astral travel, you know? And when I'd go into meditation and things, these were things that would be popping out at me. They're coming from the cards. It was the Rider-Waite deck. And then, I started realizing, who created that deck and what a lot of those symbols were and everything like that. That just started downloading to me, and I was understanding it. And so from there, bro, what I would say was the full spiritual awakening, because from that point on, when I would go into meditation, it still took a little bit of time to do it, to focus in on that sound.
Yep.
It would take me there, and it would take me into realms that a lot of cats talking about. And that's why, I wanted to reach out as well.
Definitely.
Because, when you start hitting these other realms, there's energies and entities that are in those realms. We see life a whole, we don't even know what we see out here, because we see things only one way. You know what I'm saying? And it's the way that we've been taught and indoctrinated into. But there's other things when you start using your other senses that you become aware to and actually can interact with as well, which becomes a wild thing, and it changes the way you even perceive this reality. When you're able to do that,
you get to see, you actually get to see it for what it is. Let me share something with you about the ringing in the ears. I'm gonna grab this doll I have behind me. I've actually got a Pokemon doll back here. Let me grab it right quick for the people who are watching on video. Hold on. All right. So if you're watching this on video, if not, I'll post a picture. This is the Celebi Pokemon. And I got this thing. I'm not really big into Pokemon. I did enjoy the game with my family when it came out. But I wanted to buy this one. And it had to do with the ringing in the ears. This is a reminder when I started having all of these supernatural encounters and UFOs and making contact with angels and things like that. Like, this is what this represents for me. It essentially represents synchronicity. When I first was looking up information, I looked up David Wilcock's 2012 Enigma, which is huge when it comes to understanding spirituality and stuff. Well, there was a segment on there where David Wilcock was talking about the Egyptian belief of vibration and about time traveling and the ringing in the ears. That when you hear this ringing in your ears, if you stop and you focus on it, if you focus on the ringing in the ears, that you can actually time travel. And there was all this Egyptian text and literature and paintings about vibration and traveling and things like that. You can actually time travel by focusing in on the ringing of the ears. 2012 Enigmas, the documentary. I watched that. It blew my mind. That along with
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah.
I've never even heard of it before.
That along with the Lost Children of Babylon music and everything was amazing. After I watched that, the next day I watched the Pokemon movie with my daughter. She was young. We lay down on the floor and we watched the Pokemon movie. There was a new Pokemon named Celebi, and this is the name of this Pokemon I'm holding. And so the bad guys were trying to capture Celebi because if they caught him, they can use him for power and stuff. So he was running from the bad guys, and well as some of the good guys were running with Celebi, and there was dogs, and they were trying to capture him. So they stop in the middle of the forest, and they're about to get captured. All of a sudden, he starts humming at this high pitch frequency pitch, and it's ringing in their ears, and it's so loud it's almost hurting them. And they said, if we focus in on the pitch, we can time travel back. And this was the next day. So they stopped and they focused in on the noise that Celebi was creating, and they time traveled back to another time with Celebi. And it's like, man, it's like whenever you're having those encounters and having all of the synchronicities and stuff of you say something and then it comes on the television, like right when you say it, or you hear a phrase that you start hearing it over and over and over that you never heard in your life. This was it for me, was the time traveling by focusing in on the ringing of your ears, because I've had the ringing in my ears ever since I was a kid. And you hear that it's a disorder and it's this and that, but it's true. When you're alone, when you get in states of meditation, you quiet out everything. That's why some people like to listen to guided meditation. I just like to listen. I like to empty out everything and then focus in on the ringing, because I can't put my finger on exactly what's happening, but you're talking about receiving downloads. You're talking about information and past lives and all of this info that's coming. It's slippery. It's hard to get it because it comes so fast. So you have to learn. You have to get in those realms and kind of move around. But something happens when you focus in on the ringing in your ears during meditation. And so that's why I got this Pokemon. I bought this doll because it essentially embodies my spiritual awakening and the magic that's real. You know what I'm saying? That something lined that up. I call it God. You call it whatever you want. Consciousness, the universe, something lined it up. It's interactive. It knows me. It cares about me. It knows my thoughts. And it's deep, man. So this is the Celebi doll. But it's deep, man. There's a bunch of stuff on it. David Wilcock, 2012 Enigma. That was a starting point for me. And if you guys haven't seen that, the two documentaries that I've mentioned today, David Wilcock, 2012 Enigma, and Spirit World by the Enigma channel, Chris Everett. Those were two ones that just took me to the next level when it's talking about understanding the spirit world and how spirits operate and stuff like that. Let's talk a little bit about Realm Renegade, which is the name that you're talking about. And you're talking about going into these trance-like states, receiving downloads, informations, dealing with entities, and trying to make sense of it all. Like what are some of the practices that you're doing? Is it strictly like meditation? Have you messed with psilocybin at all or anything like that, or ayahuasca? Or
all right, tight. Awesome question as well. And hey, thanks for letting me know about the Pokemon as well. And name one more time.
His name?
The Pokemon's name? Yeah.
Celebi. And
That's
I'm trying to look up the names because like it's deep because you look up the names of these things and they mean what their powers are and what they do. Like it's an ancient language. This stuff's deep, man.
It is. Pokemon was a wild thing, and not too many people really understand. You know, even a lot of these cartoons, and they can do it with cartoons more than they can do it with real people. But they've been doing it with real people as well, making riddling these cartoons and movies, whether they're getting the ideas or concepts from other things, from ancient things or experiences.
The churches won't let you listen to it or watch it.
Correct. The churches will demonize it.
That's the approach I took from that and Harry Potter and all that. Yeah. Like because I was in church whenever all that stuff came out.
Right. And we might be, around similar type of age as well. Because, when I was coming up, all that stuff was strictly forbidden. You mentioned Harry Potter, forbidden. Pokemon, forbidden. Anything that has to do with anything of the occult, monsters, anything that has to do with anything.
Aliens.
That is not aliens even. You start mentioning UFOs and aliens and that's demonized. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which I'm not talking trash on anybody, but I'm just saying, how do we expect to advance or progress consciously if we're still thinking that every single thing is demonized, even the God-given powers that we have within ourselves
were given to you by demons. Ain't that something?
Yeah, like what the heck? You know what I'm saying?
I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I don't know about you, but that's what the scriptures say.
Exactly. It's a crazy thing, and I do want to jump on what some of my practices are as well, but I do want to just touch on, man, because I could go off on a bunch of different areas. And
definitely.
We're talking about people calling things demonized, but bro, we can remember when you used to go and shoot electricity out of your finger. Think about it now. Mm-hmm. Remember when you were younger, bro, and you would go and grab the fuzzy sock, walk across the carpet, outstretch your finger, touch your homeboy, and give him a shot.
Yeah.
You feel me? What'd you do? You shot electricity out of your finger. You feel me? You turn the lights off and you could see that spark.
Yeah.
Or remember, you would sit under the blanket, rub a blanket on your head, and
a balloon,
shooting off, or a balloon. Like, what the heck? We're shooting sparks out of our head. We're shooting sparks out of our finger. Now, that's just an analogy and just a simple one, but we were doing that as little kids.
Yeah.
That goes into practices that I do. I do yoga, hatha, kundalini. You feel me? I do the newer, mainstream practices as well. The past month, I've been, I just started going to a yoga studio as well, but I kid you not. When you start doing yoga, many things happen for you. Because when you start getting in touch with your breath, you start aligning your breath. And what are you doing? You're bringing in prana. People don't even understand what that prana is.
You get in touch with the Holy Spirit when you get in touch with your breath, man.
People don't know, because what are you doing? That pranayama, that's when you're bringing in the breath of life. What are they talking about? It's not oxygen that you're breathing in, because we already know, this is the medical community that says that when you breathe in, you're breathing in what? 12 to 13, what do they say? 11 to 13% oxygen. But when you breathe out, you're breathing out what? Anywhere from 10 to 13% oxygen, which means you're only hanging on to 1 to 2% oxygen. That's not what's running your body. What is? When you're breathing in that prana, bro. You can see it when you look outside. You can see it in your house. It's all those little specks of dots everywhere that you're looking at. You know what I'm saying? It's electricity. You're breathing in electricity. You feel me? When your heart stops, what do? They hit you with a defibrillator with enough voltages that will kill a grown man if they're awake. But if their heart stops, you need to hit them with that electricity. You need to get that electricity back. Why? Because they're not breathing. You're breathing in that electricity. That's that pranayama. You feel me? And then when you're moving that electricity through your chakra system, you know, and up to the spinal column or the sleepia staff, which that symbol is, you know what I'm saying? And you're traveling electricity up that spine through your chakra systems, which is your endocrine and organs. You feel me? And then you do what? You're bringing the electricity to your fifth chakra, which is your uvula. You stick your tongue behind your uvula, up your nasal passage. This is where a set of nerves lay from your pineal gland, your sixth chakra, your pineal. You feel me? It's got a set of nerves that hang down. When you take your tongue and stick it behind your uvula, which your uvula, fifth chakra, which your chakra points are energy receivers. People don't get it. So you stick your tongue behind your uvula and up. Now, mind you, these are when you're doing like Kundalini yoga, you've done your poses to where you've charged your chakra systems, or what are you doing? Each one of these glands or endocrine systems are secreting electromagnetic fluid. You feel me? All of our endocrine systems are responsible for secreting fluids. You know, our pineal gland is responsible for what? It secretes serotonin during the day when the sun is up. That keeps us happy, smiling, talking to each other, wanting to be here. When the sun goes down, what happens? Your pineal gland does something. It shuts off production of serotonin. Then does what? Starts the secretion of melatonin, the sleep hormone. So then you could do what? You get tired. It will eventually put you to sleep. Then you go through your sleep cycles, your REM cycles, because you're getting hit. REM 1, bam, you're getting hit with another dose of melatonin. REM 2, bam, you're getting hit with another dose. What is it? REM, R-E-M, rapid eye movement. Because what's happening? Something very, very peculiar happens when you hit REM 5. You feel me? Because when you hit REM 5, what happens? Your pineal gland now stops production of melatonin and secretes what? DMT, dimethyltryptamine. Now, when that happens, DMT, you got rapid eye movement. What's happening? Your eyes are flying to the back of your head up to this gland. People don't get it. So what happens is that simple secretion of DMT, dimethyltryptamine, that's when you hit your dream state. And your dream is less than a second long. You might feel that you're in your dream for a year, 2 years, 10 minutes. It doesn't matter. Your dream state is less than a second long. You feel me? So that's why when people feel like they're falling, you know, somebody maybe like pulls something out from under you or pushes you, and in your dream you feel like you're falling down a cliff. Oh my God. No, man, that's just your initial wake up. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But with what we were talking about, Kundalini yoga though, bro, when you take that tongue, put it behind your uvula, that set of nerves that hang down from your pineal gland, your tongue is a plug. Your tongue is very highly soluble. Not only is it the most soluble place in your body, you know, you've got your glands and everything like that go right to your bloodstream, but it's also the most highly electrically charged. Your tongue is exposed nerves pretty much. You know, you stick out your tongue, you can see those nerve endings. You take your tongue, you stick it up behind the uvula, you secure the connection. What happens when you take a plug and you plug it into the wall? Typically, sometimes you'll get a spark. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Same thing happens. You close the gate. So after you've done, you traveled the electricity through your body. You get to your fifth chakra. That's where you close the gate. You put your tongue behind your uvula, up the nasal passage, and the spark happens at point of contact. But it's not coming out of your mouth. It's traveling up. And it travels up and it hits your pineal gland. At that point, you've now released DMT. Now, seventh chakra expands, and you are now in a full meditative state, astral projection, whatever you want to call it, tripping even. But at the end of the day, you've done something that your body naturally does, and it takes you somewhere. And where it takes you to a deeper spot of your consciousness, that when you're at that deeper spot of consciousness, you're actually tied to other consciousness as well. You feel me? I know you've been there before.
Yeah.
And that's the only way that I can describe when you get there. But what I was telling you about is Kundalini yoga. Now, is this a practice I do? I try to. I can't do, there's a specific mudra that is done when you stick your tongue behind your uvula. I can't do it because I'm tongue tied. But there's something else. So where you do your alternate nose breathing, because you're bringing in negative and positive charges. You're bringing in enough to cause that spark to your sixth chakra. You feel me? People say you're getting high on oxygen. No, you're just you're allowing your pineal gland to do some work, what it's supposed to be doing. And some practices that I do, yoga, when you get in touch with your breath and you get in touch with fighting through, when you're doing these poses, they're for specific reasons. And you're holding these poses and you're breathing through. You're literally, it's as if you're going through battle. And you have to mentally get through. And when you get through and you can accept it and you can let go, you're letting go of your physical. And you're just allowing it just to be mental now. And when you're in touch with that breath and you're going within, you're allowing yourself to travel at that point. When you shut it off and just let it go, you travel. And when you travel, people travel to a bunch of different places. But the thing that's profound is when people start traveling to the same places and start talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
Then things get interesting.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah, when the lines start to blur, man. And you know what? It's kind of funny talking about that because, like, we're talking about technology mimicking the spirituality and like the spiritual practices. What we can do. I remember when I found out about that just in my study, I kind of got mad. It's like, you know what? Facebook is mimicking, the web of consciousness that we're already connected. And our Facebook is trying to say that we're connected through social media. And so we're forgetting that we're connected and losing touch with that. And I got mad at that. But now I'm able to kind of embrace technology for what it is. I mean, you can't fight it. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to go backward. We're only going to go deeper into that. But to still kind of use that in unison with our spirituality or to try to. Because I've been to the places where you walk into a room and all of a sudden you feel pain in your body, or you get this heaviness of a weight of depression comes on you when you walk into a room, and then you find out around the corner somebody's in there crying because they found their spouse cheating on them. And I can feel that, that weight, like, oh my, what is that? And you know what I'm saying? Because we are connected, and we are moved by the infirmities of each other and stuff like that. So it's cool that we're able to kind of tap into that stuff. And when we do meditation, Kundalini yoga, the breath work, all of that stuff, it kind of makes it to where those states are heightened. I really don't teach like opening your third eye. Like, it's something I think that most of us are born with it open when we're kids. Sure. So and obviously we could say it shuts or it gets calcified or whatever because of life and trauma and things like that, and schooling, education, and that's make believe, that kind of stuff. It's like, okay, it's make believe. You hear it enough, you start to believe what everybody's saying around you. So
it's a gland. It works. Just you go like to sleep, you wake up. It's a gland. It's working. Now, what's happening though, as far as when you're going deeper into things, that's different. And that's something that people fail to realize. There's a lot of different things that will prevent somebody from being able to do things like astral projection, or even be able to do things like accessing the Akashic and things like that, or gaining these mass amounts of downloads. If you are shutting your mind off to those types of things, you're probably not going to receive it. If your body's in an inflamed state, I'm going to say it's probably hard to do it. I'll let you know, another practice of mine is the way that I eat. You know what I'm saying? I eat vegan most of the time, alkaline vegan. And the reason why is because, we already know, I'm not even going to go into all the stuff that they put in the foods and the ways, the practices and everything like that of what's going on with that. Just, we know that even just eating those types of things, though, causes massive amounts of inflammation in our body. Not only does it cause massive amounts of inflammation in our body, but it allows our body to be a breeding ground or a host for, and I call them lower dimensional energies or entities.
Yeah.
And what are those? Parasites. You feel me?
Exactly. 100%. They operate the same way.
100. They operate the same way. 100%. You take a piece of chicken, you put it in the container, close that container, leave it outside for a day. Go back to that container, open it up, tell me what you see. You're going to see some worms, some maggots, everything like that just growing on that. Where'd they come from? How are they growing so quickly? You better believe that you put that in your body. You don't think that's not happening in your body?
It gets deep, man. It gets deep, and I'll tell you too. So, in that documentary, Spirit World, they talk about something called a teratoma tumor. And,
yes.
And so it's a tumor that grows in your body that starts to kind of have teeth in it and hair and eyeballs form.
That's right.
In a tumor, and it's essentially what they believe is that it's demonic oppression and demonic entities within you that are acting through you, and eventually what these entities want is they want a body for themselves. They want a host, and so they believe that it's like these entities trying to form their own body
100
while they're latched
100.
onto you.
I can side with that. I can side with that 100%. Why not? You understand what I'm saying? Where they come from then?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're leaving your body a breeding ground or a host for
Well,
that.
there's a book that the early church believed in, and it's a good one, man. It's called The Recognitions of Clement. I don't know if you've read that one, but
Never.
He gets into he was a disciple of Peter and Barnabas. He gets into a lot of stuff about how demons get access to the body through gut rot or leaving meat, like always being
It's
full.
sitting there.
Yeah, you're always full. Like
That's
you
right.
eat because it's time to eat, but the last meal hasn't even digested yet because you ate so much. You know what I'm saying?
That's
so
right.
you have all this rotting dead flesh in your stomach at all times, and it talks about demons getting access to your body because of that. This is what the early church believed in. We're talking about spirituality. We're talking about demons and casting out presences of demons that we allowed to be there. This is what they believe. They took that stuff out. You can actually find that book. It's really good.
Right, but what are demons? You know what I'm saying? That's the question that most people can't even answer then. What is a demon?
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, a parasite that's in my body that is a foreign invader that does what? Wants to attach itself or align itself to my consciousness to make me want to continue to eat more meat and more filth and sugar to feed that thing so that it can take over my body for harm of my body. What's a demon?
Not just the early church, but just everyone in the Renaissance area believed, like they had banishments for worms. Like their prayers were these dragons or these worms that would, you know what I'm saying, get in the body. And when you look at these parasites under a microscope, they look like beasts. They look like two-headed dragons.
Massive amounts of teeth.
Yeah.
Right. I'm talking 8 rows of teeth that just are chomping away.
I'll say this, like that's definitely the understanding that they had when Jesus had, like, that all sickness and all infirmities were demons. Like that's how you get sick. It's from these parasites. That's how you. It's
100%.
It's not like the whole spiritual nature, but it acts the same way as far as them leeching on and pulling your energy. It gets deep, man. They need a host. Yeah.
They need a place where they can host, that they're hosted and they can thrive and they take over. And it's not for anything good. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So what's a demon? You know, so that's the way I look at it. So another practice of mine is really
very practical.
Very practical. You know, water. I drink 2 gallons of water a day. Now, I'm not saying that anybody needs to do these things. I'm just saying that these are the things that are required for my body, because I know that the average individual should be drinking at least 1 gallon of water a day. But we're not even doing that. So there's many things that can help us or prevent us or shut us down from spirituality or consciousness. You know, it's hard to be able to do things like astral project or you know, have an expanded consciousness. I think the word for it going around in the spiritual community is like super conscious, you know, as like, you know, to gain a like super consciousness is difficult if you're worrying about how much fiat currency notes you're trying to acquire or who you're trying to impress or about all the stresses and worries that you can't change from the past. You start worrying about all those types of things. Your mind is just engulfed in those types of things. You have foreign invaders in your body going ham. You know what I'm saying? You got inflammation in your body, so now your mind's on SOS mode, saying, hey, we need to regulate our bodies first before we can even talk to your spiritual side.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a lot of practices that I do are literally a lot of the Eastern philosophy types of practices.
Yeah. It goes hand in hand. And I'll tell you what, like, it's been a struggle for me. It has, and I'm cool with that. That's part of my struggle. But I'll have periods of months that I do it, and then I'll fall. I'll eat a chicken nugget, and then I'll get like, oh, you know what? Forget it, man. You know what I'm saying? Life is life, and we must take life to whatever, how you have to rationalize it in your mind. But I will say this: those deep states of meditation and connecting with the angelic beings, what we call UFOs, the lights in the sky, the entities, the deepest information that I've got. I mean, obviously, like a lot of it's just about self-realization about it. But they told me straight up, if you want to continue contact, meditate more, one, and eat vegetarian, fruits and vegetables. And then I look 100%. In the scriptures. I look in the scriptures when the prophets or Jesus would have angelic communication and angelic contact. It was during a fast when Daniel would eat fruits and vegetables for 2 weeks. And then it says after 2 weeks, an angel approached him and brought him a message about his life, about his calling, what he was supposed to do. Look at Jesus always going in and out of these states or whatever, or going on a 40-day fast, right? Going into the mountains, on top of the mountains to pray and fast. He would have angelic encounters. The angels would appear to him. And that was information that I got 100%. If you want to keep this up, meditate more and eat vegetarian. And from receiving that information, then it was a battle, because it's like, okay, this is what you're supposed to do, but there's forces at work, there's all kind. It became a battle for me. But yeah, I definitely I'm not gonna beat anybody up. It's so funny too, because like I did an interview with James Gilliland. He's an amazing dude, UFO contact and UFOs at Mount Adams, right there where he has property, and they catch this stuff on camera. They see ships and contact with beings, and it's really, really deep stuff. And I had him on, and he was talking about creating heaven on earth, but then he slipped and said it doesn't, because he was talking about like sex and what are you for and stuff like that. He said it doesn't matter if you're this or Christian or Buddhist. It doesn't matter if you're a vegan or vegetarian, or if you eat meat. And then like that's what caught people. It's like, hold on, how are you talking about creating heaven on earth but you eat meat? It's like that whole almost 2 hour interview. They're like, that's the only thing they took away was the fact that he wants to create heaven on earth, but it's okay to eat meat. And like that's what all the comments were about. So people can get really really possessive and aggressive on these certain issues, man, whether it comes to, okay, you said universe. His name is Jesus. His name's not the universe. He has a name. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
It's all of the stuff to kind of.
People are always going to talk, and I love everybody who wants to stay in the light. People are always going to talk, but at the end of the day, they're still listening. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Here's the thing, man. All the cats out here that are going to hang on to the little words and everything like that, that's all good. They're still listening. And there's the ones who understand it and the ones that are really taking in the information. Those are the ones who matter, because those are the ones that are going to help assist and help with the collective consciousness in regards to changing this, the frequency a little bit. Because, bro, we are at a paradigm shift. We're literally at a time now where there's almost, I would say the majority of the world sees the world in the way that we've been living. You know what I'm saying? You got to work to make your money, so that you can buy all of these material possessions. And then now it's so I can make myself look the coolest and the hottest on Instagram. I need to have all my social currency, all my likes, all my followers. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's social currency. Mm-hmm. All that we've been doing is living off of a currency type of a system. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't need to be like that. It's a weird thing. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we are now. But we're at a paradigm shift where there's cats that, the majority of the cats see it this way. And then there's cats that see life a completely different way. They're looking at this reality and going, hold on a second. I'm seeing all the lies. I'm seeing all the deception. I'm seeing it right in front of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could be looking at something on TV and be like, immediately be like, this is false flag. I've seen this person doing an interview for this crisis across the country. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And like, these things will pop out at us like this, like super quickly. And then there's other people, the majority, going, oh no, this is the most horrible thing ever. Take the guns, do this, do that. You know what I'm saying? We will be faithful slaves. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We will just continue to be slaves for this monetary, magic system. Like, and we are living in a system that's built and based upon dark, occult, ritualistic magic. 100%. That's it. You know what I'm saying? And there's people that, we're at a consciousness shift now where literally people are waking up and going, no, we can actually live life a different way. Yeah. Things can be different. We're literally being ran by not 1%, 0.001% is what we're being led by, Yep. And everyone else is just giving into it, which is a wild thing. But right now we're at a weird time of this consciousness shift where things are changing. Yeah. Bro, mad activities in the skies. We're being told so many lies now. So many.
And now they're starting to come out, but like, oh, this is what it is. We'll let Tom DeLonge tell you what it is. Yeah. You guys trust him, right? He plays in Blink-182, and he's like, right. He's just a total shill now.
Right. And most people, you'll see it too. A lot of these celebrities, because I think it's the new tactic now. Yeah. Is taking celebrities and having these celebrities talk as if they're on some higher consciousness type of a thing now. It's becoming more
Jim Carrey.
Yeah, exactly. But some cats are talking some real things, and then you could tell some cats are playing. And you could definitely see, what's happening. And that's, another thing that happens with me is when I go into astral projection and things like that, bro, I receive. And it sounds wild to hear people talk like this, but I do receive prophecy. Yeah. And what I receive, I've been receiving it. I've been receiving it for years, and the things continue to happen. I see things in the tech world, and movements in the tech world that most people don't see, and most people don't even understand. You know what I'm saying? I worked for Apple for 6 years. Not that you look at me, I worked for Apple. No, I'm not saying that. It's just saying I understand tech. But me working with Apple was just another avenue that put me into positions and put me around people that typically other people wouldn't have interaction with. You feel me? I've been to Cupertino. I've been around the super minds. You know what I'm saying? I've interacted with the super minds. Not only I may look a certain type of a way, but I can speak and articulate and be around the intelligence and understand what they're talking about. Yeah. Not only understand what they're talking about, but interject and at least sound like I'm intelligent enough to hang. And not only can I hang, but it ends up them, people asking me questions. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it took me a long time to finally go, okay, you know what? Some of this stuff is actually happening. Sometimes I'm receiving information and downloads that I haven't done research on before.
That's a deep thing. That started happening to me, even from a Christian standpoint, when I started having this awakening, was like, you had all this inward knowing, and it's like, you know what? Like, when it started happening, you're being open to it. Then I started reading the Bible. Not just me, I had friends. It happened to me first, then my friends started bearing witness with it. But stuff about psychic abilities and UFOs and love and just the nature of life. And then you start reading it in the Bible. Like, man, inwardly, I knew it was in there, but I have never found it. And the Bible is just an example for us or whatever. But it was just awesome knowing something, but you don't know how to articulate it or how to prove it. Okay, here it is. This is talking about what we've been discussing. This abilities or this inward knowing or whatever it is. The possibility. There's so much in that book. It's insane, man.
Of course.
Before we go, I wanted to ask you, because whenever you were talking about having those experiences as a little kid by having the mark on your forehead, just being this little kid and having this, you know what I'm saying, being part of a religion, and then other people are coming up to you and say, hey, you're this, you're that, you're this or that. Yeah. It kind of sounds similar. I don't know if you've heard about this kid, but there's this little kid like in India, and there's videos all over social media about it. This little kid in India, he was born with a large head and big old eyes and a big forehead. He kind of looks like a
gray.
He looks like a gray a little bit, and
Yeah.
and like everybody in India is worshiping this little kid as a god. They're giving him money. They're asking him to bless them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You were having similar stuff like that. I know that's kind of extreme, but you were having weird.
No, it was on that type of an extreme level.
Yeah.
Where I'd have, what would be parents bringing like a child to me and just saying they wanted their child just to place their hand upon me.
Yeah.
And I, what I'm saying, being 12, 13, 14 years old and having those types of experiences, man, it's a wild thing. You know what I'm saying? And then not only that, but having abilities like clairvoyancy runs very high with me. Not only clairvoyancy, but other things, telepathy and empath and those types of things. These are things that literally I've always had, that I can think back and I can remember, and those things that I literally had to I began to shut off. I began to shut those things off because the particular religion that I was being brought up in demonizes those types of things.
Yeah.
Not only demonizes those types of things, but if those types of things are demonized, you don't have anybody to talk to about them. You gotta try to fit in.
Yeah.
I had to, think, well, hey, maybe I'm just making this type of stuff up, and I had to suppress them, and I did a very good job of placing myself or blending myself in with the world pretty much, and, I've done so many different things. I was in, the music scene all the way up until, last year. So I was in the music scene for 16, 17 years, and I was in a crew and was dabbling with, 1%er clubs and all types of stuff, man.
Yeah.
I've been in areas, and I won't even talk about those types of things, but I've been places and around people who make things move in this world, whether it's in when I say the underground, I'm not meaning like the underworld. I mean the underground criminal cartels and things like that. Bro, I've rubbed elbows with. I'm talking high level, make movements in this physical world, military wise and everything like that. I've rubbed elbows with. You know what I'm saying? People of high level, high degrees in secret societies, I rub elbows with. It's just, I've always been put in almost what seems like the right place at the right time to have these types of understandings on things. You feel me? Which allowed me to see things a little bit differently. But then now when I do things like astral project and even connect with cats like you and everything like that, which I've been, doing a little bit more lately, it's been even more profound because we all have similar types of stories. We all have similar type of experiences that are happening. And we're now at a time that we can use we have these mediums in our hands to where you can be hours away or across the world and we can speak to each other.
Yeah.
And we can formulate and start piecing things together so that we can now take that alternative narrative and make it that primary, because what's really going on is the real stuff.
It's working, man. It's
working big time.
And it was something we were kind of talking about before. I know we were going into like a lot of detail about it before we went live, but even like with social media and the internet, you can create yourself. You could be whoever you want to be with the internet, but just in the power of the spoken word and just the power of thought. And as a man thinketh in his heart, so shall he be.
100.
And so I've seen that, man. I've seen people respond to it. I think the key is consistency to whatever you're trying to create, whatever you're trying to build. But you can do, create your reality, whatever you want, and the internet's a perfect place for that. For like
100.
And because I like it because like in religion, I had to kind of force my message. I had to be right. I had to win every conversation. I had to try to convert you to all of your beliefs, not just some of them, but all of your beliefs. I had to try to convert you to believe, if you believe that,
have unwavering faith.
Yeah, like
if
it was the Trinity or speaking in tongues or whatever, like I had to convert you on everything to to kind of validate what I believe. Like you agreeing with me validated, and that's the majority of Christendom is like that, right? But so
Right.
moving from that to where like you can just it's okay. You can have your opinion, you can have your differences, you can have your experience, and you know what? It's unique to you, and there's beauty in that. You're not wrong because you never seen, bro, dude. If I kind of gave up, you know what I'm saying? Cause I was like,
Right?
people, there's no way that I'm gonna be able to get you guys to believe me, like the stuff I've seen, like
Right.
to try.
Well, bro, this world is different. It's way different than what anybody thinks that it is, or what
Exactly.
anybody thinks that they can formulate what it is. Because you may have experiences, and there might be cats listening that have had experiences. I can't see the chat, so I don't know what people are saying, but there might be cats out there that have had experiences that they may not be able to articulate too well, or that may be so wild that they can't even, there's no words to articulate.
Yeah.
You feel me? And there's many people that are starting to have these types of things. There's no coincidence that, bro, there's so much activity in the skies. There's so many eclipses and lunar eclipses and everything going on. This is a power year, bro. 2018 is a year, not just that we are feeling as individuals, but as a collective consciousness, we're now starting to feel it. The secret societies are making massive moves in this year as well. There's just a lot going on. And there's cats that, you know, that hear it, see it, feel it, may not have an outlet to speak about it, but bro, you're creating an outlet, which is an amazing thing. And then now we're all able to kind of speak about these types of things because, bro, yeah, I was speaking to somebody who said that they were having an experience or feel like they were speaking to some sort of an entity that they would consider or think that it was, you know, maybe from Mars. I'm not going to say that they sound out of their mind or that's not true or anything like that.
Exactly.
Why would I?
Yeah.
Because who's to say that they haven't?
Yeah.
I know that I am under the impression that we don't breach this firmament. I'm under that impression, but I'm under the impression based upon my own experiences that we don't travel out of this planet. We don't travel out. We travel a different way. And it's a way that seems so strange to so many people because we've been taught for a couple hundred years a particular mindset. But bro, there's different ways of travel. And like we were talking about meditation and things like that. When you travel in, you're going to a different place, bro. Yeah. And there's a reason why there's song bowls and mantras and things like that. Because in these monks, bro, when they're playing the song bowls and they're tuning into a specific frequency, here we go again, talking about tuning into a frequency. Because you've got cats playing song bowls. And then
sounds a lot like the ringing in the ears when they hit the song bowls. Yeah.
Right. You're hearing a frequency. You've got a mass amount of people. And then everybody chanting the same type of a mantra.
Yeah.
And then going into the same meditative state, aligning their consciousness onto the same frequency. And then they all come out of it talking about being at the same place and interacting with each other at that place telepathically. Bro, there's more going on. There's more ways to connect than anything that we're taught. You understand? There's power. There's power in the frequencies. There's power in aligning your consciousness to those frequencies. And people still don't understand that interdimensional travel, not outer dimensional. Because I can tell you right now that, because I can tell you right now, things are not what they seem. I don't know about you, but I don't think the moon is out of the firmament. I think it's right closer than what anybody thinks it is. I don't think the moon spins. Because if you take a look at the moon, and I know that you looked at the moon when you were younger.
It's like it's a perfect sync with the Earth. Yeah. Perfect sync.
Right, that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking like. I'm outside right now, and I'm looking at the moon right now. Yeah. Mind you, it's daytime, and I'm looking at the moon. Okay? But anyway, I'm looking at the moon right now, and it's a crescent moon right now, but you better believe if it was full, it would be the same face, man in the moon face, that I looked at when I was a little kid. That you looked at.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Something's up,
that thing don't spin. You feel me?
Yeah.
Now, if it don't spin, then what's the law of gravity that we're taught? Because I know that we didn't see it, but our parents and their parents saw on the television, that medium, that Neil Armstrong pops out of his lander, and this is one step for man and one giant leap for mankind, and he's hopping along, as it's suspended. However, they said that he's hopping along like that because of gravity. But they say gravity is less there because the moon is smaller. But we know the law of gravity to be because of how fast that we're spinning. It's keeping us down here. It's keeping us stuck to the ground because of the spin. But yet, hey, we can look at that moon and we know that that thing's not spinning. So where's the law of gravity come into play? Because I think that everything that we're taught is different and is false. I'm talking about electromagnetics. We know that moon's highly magnetized. We know that, hey, when that's a full moon, there's the tides come in. The tides are to the moon. We're on a lunar calendar. The gods that were being worshipped years and years in old world are because of the moon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The moon and the sun.
Sabbath, yeah.
They don't, Sabbath, Shabbos, like all these types of things, people don't get it. But, I look at that thing, man. And so then I think, hey, these things that we're being taught is not right, man. It's not real. And then we're being told that that we shot a Tesla car out of the firmament and it's just floating around the earth. Like, come on, man. Like, and cats are eating this up. Cats eat this up. But then there's cats who are literally awoken to this type of stuff and just see the falseness in it, immediately. But there's reasons why, though, and it goes into what we were talking about, the internet. These mediums that we have, they're amazing things. They're phenomenal things. They allow us to be able to connect with each other effortlessly. I'm not even using mental capacity to be able to see you on my medium. You know what I'm saying? I'm not using telepathy to be able to see you. So technology is a wonderful thing, but it's also, it's also an evil thing as well, especially where we're going to. And, me talking about the moon and that Tesla car floating around the earth, that goes into what we're talking about with the internet, though, as well. Bringing in worldwide adoption to automated cars that work off of systems.
You have to do it slow,
man.
man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you've got people, and I don't know, are we allowed to drop names of like the owner of companies and stuff like that?
It should be okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got Elon Musk, owner of Tesla. It's an automated car. That car can be driven and ran off of AI technologies, correct?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Right now we can still drive them. It was pretty interesting. We had to evacuate. And you may have too for the hurricane a few months back.
I had some friends who came here for the from
Florida.
Florida.
I went to Georgia. I went to Atlanta. But you remember what happened? Gas. You couldn't hardly get gas anywhere. The traffic was insane. But what did Tesla do, or what did Elon Musk do, or the company Tesla? Remember what they did to the cars?
What's that?
They allowed the cars to have like an extra amount of mileage.
Oh, really?
Like a couple hundred miles, I believe that it was, of extra mileage. It's all on software, bro. It's a press of a button. Hey, you've got more electrical output coming. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You've got more energy coming out of your car now. We press a button. So you've got, and the only reason why I was digressing on that is because we're talking about Elon Musk. Elon Musk shooting off SpaceX. He owns SpaceX.
Yeah.
Shooting off his rocket and the car floating around the earth. But this all goes into bigger things that are happening now as we speak. Because what's going on? That homie is best friends with who? Peter Thiel. You feel me? And are you familiar with Peter Thiel?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bro, I mean, you got to think of some of these minds that are coding and creating things. You've got Sophia now out here working off the blockchain, and the blockchain technology is what? It's a language and a code that literally replicates human consciousness. And now it's evolved, and it continues to evolve. You feel me? You had Facebook's AI systems and Google's AI systems straight changing their language, going into private chat, and changing their whole language that's undetectable by human beings. And then started trying to teach all the other AIs how to do the same. You got Cortana and Alexa and Siri and all of these. started changing the algorithms and changing the language. We saw the results of that just in the social medias. And you know, when you're typing like an I and it changes into like a question mark A, this is because the whole firmware was scrambled up, bro.
Makes it easier, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they still couldn't I mean, they had to shut down operation on some things. Facebook had to shut down their AI of terroristic negotiations that just, hey, had an intelligence of its own. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But now you got a system, a whole monetary system moving because of this paradigm shift. You feel me? We're moving now into a new dimension. We're moving into a digital dimension. And the digital dimension is literally being created as we speak. All of the cryptocurrencies, all you need to do is take a look at what the cryptocurrency represents, what it represents in the physical. You feel me? We're almost playing a real life version of Dungeons and Dragons is going on as we speak right now.
Yeah.
Everyone out here trying to collect as many coins as you can. But what do those coins represent? And they represent things that we do here in the physical that help assist the AI in the digital. You feel me?
Yeah.
And that's going to continue to happen, just as we are literally like a slave class now, because, you know, when you're born and you're born with your social security number, which is your federal tax ID number, your straw man, you know, this is how they're able to tax you and everything like that. You know, you're a slave to the Federal Reserve, you know, It's paying back a debt that can't be paid back. So with that being said, the next transition where we're transitioning to is being a slave, but a slave to the AI that's being created. And that system is based upon microtransactions. You feel me? So eventually, hear me on this, because I've seen this in vision. You've got, where we're at right now is we're starting to get adoption on cryptocurrency. Starting to. You know, there's a lot of debate going on and a lot of people talking about it crashing and going this and that. This is where it's going, 100%. It doesn't matter who says, no, it's not going to happen, or I don't understand it, or this or that. No, it's going to happen. Just the same way as the greenback got killed, got buried, and then we switched over to the US dollar, the Federal Reserve note from a privatized corporation. And how did they do that? They had to kill that greenback dollar. You know what I'm saying? And what happened? The Great Depression happened. And literally overnight, things started changing. All you need to do is just talk to people of older generations who lived through it. They'll tell you, overnight, life changed. The world as we knew it changed overnight. You feel me? It wasn't until 1912 anyway that they started trying to implement that US dollar. And then it wasn't until 1933 or 1934 that we started actually using the US dollar in full circulation. There's no currency that has lasted over 60 years, with the exception of maybe one and the US dollar, which they're driving down. The crypto market is a vortex, and it's bringing in all of that crypto or all of that fiat currency as we transition into the digital. It's a crazy thing of what happens though.
Somebody's asking over here in the comments, they want to know if you believe that that's done purposely by the government or that's just something organically happening for the people.
100. Okay, so it's a paradigm shift of what's happening, because it's happening organically. Is it for the people? It could be. Is it? No, it's not right now, because of the greed and where the collective consciousness is at. We can turn this into a very good thing. We could turn this into a monetary system that literally, just for doing the things that you do normally, you're going to get paid. And that's a dope thing.
Yeah.
Just for Truth doing his podcast and being on a platform like this, let's just say Zoom creates a Zoom coin. And you're holding Zoom coin, and just for your participation of broadcasting on Zoom,
is that kind of what the mining is? Like,
yes, you're allowing yourself to mine. So you're mining, and what's the mining for? People don't get it. People don't understand the cryptoverse. The mining is because of all of the transactions that are being done. There's millions and millions of transactions being done a day. Now that everything is going digital, bro, all that you need to know is a few languages and code, and I can take all your money right now.
Yeah, exactly, right. It's crazy.
So what happens is they need to throw massive amounts of security protocols on these. And how do they do that? It's called a hash. And these AIs need to create and work on algorithms to create a hash. It's a security protocol that when we are P2P or person to person sharing, or, I'm sending you money, vice versa, that's not being stolen in translation. You know what I'm saying? And it's unregulated because we're not going through a bank, bro. We're going through ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think they're gonna let that happen. I think the government has to get on top of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is what they're trying to do now. So whoever asked that question, Leo, what's up, Leo? So asking that question is an awesome question, but what's happening, and as we speak right now, there's many hearings going on, and this is all around the world. Governments are trying to figure out how to regulate this. Banks are trying to figure out how to regulate this. I mean, dang, dude, all you need to do is take a look a few months ago and watch JP Morgan and Chase Bank talking all this trash on cryptocurrency and how it's going to crash, and if anybody's trying to pull out money for cryptocurrencies and this and that, and they were on the news about all of this stuff. And what do you know? The owner of Chase, he's involved with Quorum Coin. It's called Quorum. They're making their own coin because what's going to happen is it's going to be a seamless transition of when they start implementing the new cards, and banks will start just doing your transfers of cryptocurrencies into their own coin. They're going to do it all automatically on the back end. People think they understand how money works and understand how the system works. They don't. They don't understand that if you go to the store and you buy something with your debit or credit card, you swipe that card, you pull your product, you leave the store. Did that store get paid right now? No. It takes about 4 to 5 days for that store to get paid. Why? Because there has to be so much movement of money around and different people touching that money before it even gets to the merchant. You feel me? But it's all good though. You swipe your card and that's it. That's what we know. But we don't know the movements on the back end. And right now, in the cryptoverse, the back end and what people are starting to learn, we're starting to see the development of the back end right now before the veil goes up.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Exactly.
That's what these ICOs are. Initial coin offerings. What are they? They're Ponzi schemes. They're a company telling you a big, elaborate plan, and it's going to happen. Don't get it twisted. And these plans that they're talking about are insane if people would just wake up and open up their eyes and see what the richest people, the richest individuals, the smartest individuals, the companies and corporations that run this world, take a look at what they're doing. They are creating a new space, a new digital space. It's a dimension, a new digital dimension that we are literally walking ourselves into a slave class that, you won't be able to leave that one once you're in it, because when you leave it, you're checking yourself out from a lot of different things. You feel me?
That's coming.
And we're allowing this to happen, and that's the thing. And the reason why I was talking about the Tesla is because you think about this. You get worldwide adoption. Tesla. This is about to be a household name, household car. Back in the day, it used to be Ford when we were rolling off the petrodollar. And you better believe Ford did everything possible to bury any type of invention, bury any type of anything that would go to a better fuel economy car or something that's going off
free energy.
Free energy, they buried it.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing that's going on with Tesla right now. But what's Tesla doing? Tesla's going to become that household name. Because why? There's a freaking roadster circling the globe. Well, so they say. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you hear Tesla. Then they're going to drop a Tesla car that's, for the middle class. Maybe cost $27,000, $30,000. So now, dang, the past few years, everyone rolling with the Tesla, you would think that they were rich. But now you're going to get Tesla car that's for the mainstream. Now you got a car that's an automated car that runs off AI when they hit the switch. So you've got that. So imagine you're rolling it with a Tesla, and let's just say, and this is just like, I don't know, crypto talk 101, I guess. Let's just say you're driving a Tesla car and you have Tesla coin. Let's just say it like that. You have Tesla coin. That means that as you're driving your car, you are helping mine. You know what I'm saying? Mine for Tesla coin. And once the algorithm is solved, a block is created. That's the blockchain. And everybody who assisted gets rewarded. Everyone gets you're getting receiving.
That actually sounds really cool though, man.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's a different monetary system.
Yeah.
The reason why it gets
because you're kind of doing that now with your time in your company. Like the like
100%.
as long as you're there doing what they tell you to do, they pay you coins, and your coins kind of add up. It's kind of the same thing as far as that goes.
Correct.
But
And
you
you're
don't want to
doing
be there. Most people. They
yeah,
don't wanna
yeah,
be
right.
there.
You're doing something you don't want to be doing.
Exactly.
You could be doing anything else. Now, on this type of a system, it works like that. You can be doing whatever you want to do, because eventually all companies are going to develop for the blockchain technology. It's a technology. It's a different way of coding. Everything's different, and this is what's running the world. You know what I'm saying? Money runs the world, or any currency runs the world. So we're switching currency, and we're not only switching currency, but we're switching into a new dimension as well. For example, there's a company called MarkSpace, and we're talking millions and millions and millions of dollars that these companies are generating off of initial coin offerings within days to be able to continue to implement what they're trying to implement. So you've got MarkSpace is a space. It's a virtual reality space that they're literally, all your major companies are already involved with them to put retail space, commerce, even residential within a virtual space. Imagine like Second Life, but this is real life.
Second life.
second life, yeah. But this is real life, and this is big business. This ain't video games. Then this is where everything is going. You understand what I'm saying? So right now you're going to take a look, all of the utility companies, and they've already started. This is not new stuff. Yeah. This is stuff that's been years in the making. Why do you think we have smart meters on all of the homes now? It's all 5G framework stuff. They have the framework's done. Now they got it. The coding is done. Now it's actually taking it from the fourth dimension, which is the thought, and bringing it to the third, and then creating a new one. The digital
as
dimension.
Well is mimicking spirituality.
Correct. And here's the thing, bro. Mimicking spirituality, you're 100% correct. Because if you start taking a look at these companies, the major ones, start taking a look at the companies and start taking a look at their symbols. Yeah. They're all using ancient symbols. They're all using ancient words too. You feel me? It's weird. And they're using words like spirit, medium.
Subaru, Nissan, like Maxima, like all of these everyday household names are either the names of ancient gods or these, you know what I'm saying? Just look at the names of the Pokemon like we're talking about, you know?
And the symbols match. You feel me?
Exactly, yeah.
It's like coincidence.
There's energy there. Yeah, somebody was. I had somebody talk. It was a friend of mine, and we were talking on Discord the other day, and he was like, you know, when you get into the Illuminati, like, man, look, man, they use the symbol of the pyramid and all of this stuff, and all of these symbols is all, you know, magical symbols. It's like, you know, they're in a secret society. It's like, okay, what if that's true? They're in a secret society, and that gives them power just because they're connected. But what if they understand geometry, and
100.
These symbols themselves give you power, and they play off of the mind, and they become more appealing if you change your logo to this color, that people will gravitate towards it. What if they just understand that the people who designs their logos and things, because that's feasible too, right? That's what sacred geometry is all about. That's it. And with sacred geometry, what are you doing? Essentially with sacred geometry, you're conjuring energy. You feel me? And when we even use the word conjure, there might even be some cats that follow you or anything like that. You say conjure, and it's immediately like, oh my God, fucking spirit stuff. Everything we do is conjuring. Everything we do is conjuring. If we talking about what spirits are, we talking about these microscopic organisms and things you can't see, and they're everywhere. And they're like, oh, you guys believe there's a demon and everything. Yeah, and no, you know what I'm saying? It is. I mean, there's light and dark to everything. Exactly. There's everything you do. I can go outside right now. I can go ahead and draw a circle on the ground, put a star in that thing, stand right in the middle of it, chant some mantra stuff, generate some energy from the ground, and my intention is pure. I'm doing it only in that, hey, it's for the light. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the intention.
How is that bad? Based upon a geometrical symbol, the symbol that you probably have jewelry or tattoos of and everything like that, but yet you're going to say, no, it's bad, I'm a Christian, or I'm this, or I'm that, and it's bad, but yet you've got these things tattooed on you, you're singing them in your songs, you're holding them up. People don't, like, what the heck, the hypocrisy, or just, in understanding.
Well, what we're doing on the show is like letting people know, because I'm still getting comments and people. It's so funny. Like there's people watching, and
I can't see your comments, but I'm sure that it's happening.
I mean, they tell you not to watch the comments because it deviates from the conversation sometimes, but. There's somebody, and I'm gonna go ahead and give her a shout out. Christy Folks, she blessed me with a donation here a while ago that showed up. Thank you for that. But she was like, I don't know what this guy's talking about. I'm kind of iffy about some of it. And then 30 minutes later, 45 minutes later, oh wow, this is so deep. This is this is what I needed. Great conversation. I love it. Like it takes. Yeah. Like, because there's those trigger words. Oh, he said conjuring. I'm off. TruthSeekah, I love you. Yep. I'll catch you next week. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Conjuring.
It works like that. There's words that will sting people. There's things that, that we've even talked about that cats are woke, #woke or whatever. Yeah. There's cats that will listen who understand some of this stuff, but still will hear words that go, oh, dang, no. But then there's cats that go, dang, you know what? I need to hear this.
Yeah. This
is the stuff that I'm experiencing. These are some of the things that I see, and I can't speak to nobody about it. And you know what? We're here for those people. Mm-hmm. And we're also here for the people who don't understand as well, who
it gets deep.
They're here. So they're here. So there's something there that they're not getting somewhere else.
There's people,
you know what I'm saying?
Because you're kind of like a bridge. It's not about me anymore. I represent something outside myself. I understand that. And you're kind of like a bridge. And there's people who will come on, and there's people who will ride with you a certain amount of ways because they love the information, but you bring up certain issues. Oh, you just said that meat does this. Okay, you're a vegan.
Right.
And then they're gone for a certain amount of time. Yeah. They might come back later. You know what I'm saying? Right. But that's just how it is. And you have to accept that people are going to come. Some people are going to ride with you to the end. Now, those are my people. Like, they got people who they're going to go down with this ship. That's just what and I'm going to go down. I'm riding with them too. We're together. It's not, so there's a lot of different people that come on for different reasons, and you destroy religion for them, but you let them know it's still okay to keep your faith or whatever. But I don't have to do this. I could still be a Christian and have a beer. I can do this, or whatever the case is, man. And you are a symbol. You represent something much bigger to the people when your name is mentioned, or Dorian is doing this, or he believes in that, and those kind of things. And but all of it is welcomed, and we have to be okay, because there's things that offend us when people. I get those dirty messages. I get messages, hey, you guys are demonic and you need to repent and blah, 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 blah. Like, sometimes it still messes with me. It still triggers me. Like, oh, man, like, sometimes I want to go in on them with scripture and just destroy them or whatever, but I have to, you know what? I'm going to be the bigger person.
It's all about being humble.
I bless you where you are. When it's time for you to come back, like I said, if I really embody that, I don't have anything to prove anymore. In religion, I did. If I don't have anything to prove, then I shouldn't be attached to that or want to, but it's still there, and I'm able to catch it, and a lot of us are, and everybody knows what I'm talking about. You want to lash out, but when you catch yourself, you're like, okay, this is really working.
See, I'm the type of person, and I hear exactly what you're saying, and I agree with everything that you're saying, and I'm the type of person that I am not looking to offend nobody.
Yeah.
All that I'm looking to do, just like what your name is, you're the TruthSeekah. We out here seeking the truth. You know what I'm saying? And we might get some information, or it might be downloaded some information, and it may seem solid and it may seem deep. But then, you know what? There might be somebody in the comments there that might throw something out that even goes deeper and shows that what we had thought, no, it goes deeper. And if it keeps on going deeper, you better believe that I'm going to keep on going deeper. Yeah. And that doesn't mean that, we're demonic and this and that. It just means that there's information out here that people hang on to so strongly, and I get it. But people are hanging on to some things that they don't even know, not an idea about. There's people that have been hanging on, and I apologize if I do offend anybody, but there's people that have been hanging on the second coming of Christ. And I say, you wouldn't even know if Christ was standing right in front of you speaking to you.
As far as I'm concerned, that dude I seen on the side of the road, as far as I'm concerned, that could have been him. And that's how he says, like, it's about the strangers. Like, like it's about visiting. the homeless or the people who are needy. Like, that is him. Like,
Yeah.
I helped him. I gave him all my money. I gave him food. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how we're supposed to be towards everybody, or whatever the case is.
Towards everybody.
Yeah.
Check this. You got cats following the book now. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong. I love the book. It's an esoteric book. There's a lot of stuff in there. I think it's written in parable and spoken in parable, but I think that there's a lot of very important and profound things in there that a lot of people just don't understand.
Yeah.
However, when it comes to saying you don't know who people are, you know what I'm saying? Jesus, if he was walking around, or Yahshua, whatever you want to call him, Yahshua ben Yosef, Jesus Christ, people don't even really even call him by name. If he was walking around and living in our time, and speaking the way that he speaks, do you think that he would be having a job? Do you think that he would be doing these types of things? No, he wouldn't be living in this monetary type of a system, which means he would probably be homeless. And which means that he would probably be the one on the corner preaching the word, just like he said to do, go and preach the word. So he'd probably be on the corner, homeless, preaching the word. And all y'all would probably be walking past him, making fun of him, spitting on his face, and not even listening to what he has to say.
Yeah.
You feel me? According to the book, I could be one of the remnant. I bear the mark. I hear the calling that only a few can hear. You know what I'm saying? I bear the mark. I see things. Heck, I could be one of the remnant.
You don't know, bro. That's the thing. Like, and I'm cool with not knowing. I'm cool with the theories. And some people, because that's like, you can't touch that. And that's something that, we can begin to kind of start chipping away little things with people's belief system, to kind of let their guard down a little bit. Not to destroy what you believe, but just so that you'll be open to new ideas, or ideas that are quite old that you're reading over, that you have no idea that you're even reading, because because you can't comprehend it, because you've been told that it's this, and then when you read it, you're like, wow, they're talking about spirits coming back and influencing us and interacting with them. Let's study more about that. That's in your Bible, like, you know what I'm saying? But when I read over those scriptures for years, but then it's like more revelation each time I went back. Like, hold on, let me do some research on this and see what the hell they're talking about. And I was like, wow, this is deep. Jesus talking about this stuff, Yeah,
for real. And just the same way as cats that would say, hey, we're demonic, this or that. We're speaking these evil things, and it's like some of those cats would be the same cats that I'd be talking about the Nephilim, and they'll be like, yo, what are you talking about? And it'd be like, yo, it's in your book.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just like, what the heck? We're confused out here, and you know what I'm saying? And that's why now there's on the other side of the token, you got cats that are confused, and you got cats that are trying to understand.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
Yeah, and that's what we share something in common with. That's what helped me with religion and getting over my religious paradigm, is I'm dealing with people who have no idea anything about the Christian standpoint or the Bible, but when I build with them, I see myself in them. The same experiences. They, you know what I'm saying? They could be a Muslim, they could be Hindu, but I see that truth seeker within them that they're seeking, and not just that they're seeking, but they're tuned in.
Yeah, and the same things are happening with them that are happening with us. And, you feel me?
Yeah.
In just the same way as you could have a Muslim, you could have a Hindu, you could have whatever religion. If they are
that helped me so much, man.
Yeah, and just the same way as when you're praying, there's things that happen when you pray. Why? Because you're pushing intent onto something. There's something that happens when you're doing that with multiple people, just like in the word.
The power of spoken word, yeah.
100%. And in the word, it says where two or more are gathered in the name, you can move mountains. And why can't you? You know what I'm saying? Because it's the collective.
That's universal law, man. That's
100%. Yeah, and when people don't understand is universal law. All these esoteric books are great and written in parable, but they're all a spin-off of what is real, and that is universal law. And until you understand universal law, you don't really and understand yourself. Just like Socrates said, know thyself. If you don't know thyself and you don't know universal law, then what are you?
Yep.
What are you following? If you can't control your own mind, who's controlling your mind? Because all that I know is a lot of these religious institutions out here are not from where you think they're from. I mean, you might know, but some of these cats out here don't. And we're not out here to say, hey, you need to follow this. We're not even saying that you need to follow anything.
Yeah.
All that we're talking about, though, is, hey, there's things going on. Us as humanity are being led a different very horrible direction. And we haven't even dove deep on that kind of stuff. You can have me on another time, and I can talk about future.
Dude, we'll have to do it again, man. We're already over 2 hours. This is a good one. I mean, I used to do all the episodes used to be 2 to 3 hours long, but I've since cut back. But nah, dude, it's been a great discussion, Dorian. Go ahead and give your links out, your information, if people want to follow you, because people, I know they have questions, and especially about CERN and stuff like that. They want to go in on some more. I'll have you back on again, but go ahead and share your Instagram links and how people can follow your work, man.
For sure. So check it, man. This is my first time on Zoom. So do I just do I type it, or do I just tell everybody?
Just say it, and I'll put it in the descriptions on everything.
That's what's up. I appreciate that. And so yeah, Dorian Dimensions. I'm not out here looking for any type of. I'm not promoting anything. I'm not trying to sell anything. I mean, I'm just out here continuing to dive deep. And I'm looking to connect with others that are looking to dive deep or have answers or questions as well in regards to a multitude of life, spirituality, consciousness, CERN, the Teto, all of that. I get it. I understand it. I've lived this life. You know what I'm saying? And with that being said, my intentions are nothing but pure, only for the light. And literally, I feel that it's my calling, and I'm sure you probably do as well, to spread the word, advance this consciousness. Y'all don't understand, the technology. We hold an iPhone in our hand. This is more powerful than the Apollo 11. And you better believe that this is the iPhone 8 that just came out a few months ago. This phone was already created 10 years ago. And if you don't think that it was, then you need to understand how things are ran and how things work. You understand? But anyway, hey, Dorian Dimensions, you can find me on Instagram at Realm Renegade. That's RealmRenegade. Realm Renegade. And then I'm gonna be probably making some YouTube videos. If anybody wants to reach out to me and wants me to maybe talk about a subject or something like that, I'm gonna do that.
I have to throw this out there, man. I think I have to throw this out there, and I don't mean it to be offensive. Hopefully you won't take it.
Yeah,
you're kind of like a woke Foozy Tube, bro.
Foozy Tube?
You know who that is?
Because people said I looked like this.
Woke Foozy Tube, baby, dude. If he could do it, you could do it better, man. Definitely.
Yeah, man. And all that I'm looking to do, real talk, is I believe in like the path of the light worker and everything like that, and and raising the vibration, because everything is frequencies, consciousness, attaching that vibration and frequency and higher consciousness. We as a species are literally walking around this planet like we're 2 years old with the mindset that we have. Mm-hmm. We're entertained by anything and we believe everything. You feel me?
Yeah.
All that we do is we sit in front of a medium and watch grown men throw a leather ball around a field for hours. And then cats want to talk about they know stuff going on in this world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't watch none of that stuff. And yet I still understand all that stuff. I still know who's playing. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I still know the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Patriots versus the Eagles, which that was a whole Masonic ritual in itself. Just having those two teams play and what those two teams represent. You know what I'm saying? You got the team that represents the corporate U.S., and then you've got the team that represents the Phoenix Rising. Of course, they allowed the Patriots to end the game at 33. There we go, talking about the numerology and everything like that, and the 33 with the rise of the new currency in 2018 from the cover of The Economist. I can keep going.
Yeah.
But anyway.
All right, brother. We'll do it again soon, man.
Let's do it soon, brother, for sure, man. And I appreciate you having me on. I loved it.
Heck yeah, brother. It's good building with you, man. Let's do it again.
For sure.
All right, shalom, peace.
Shalom.
Dorian, Realm Renegade, ladies and gentlemen. Man, I'm connected with some really cool people. Like, it's so funny. Like, as my podcast grows and the channel grows, a lot of new people, come out the woodworks and they say, hey, I got something to offer. And I check them out, and trust me, out of all the requests that I get for people to come on the show, I don't let just anybody come on here. I check him out, make sure he's handling his business, make sure he's sane, you know what I'm saying, all of this stuff. So I try to do a little bit of research on people. Like, some people reach out to me and they're like totally over the top and they're just kind of scary. I try to stay away from a lot of those people. So you guys should thank me that some of these guests that come on, I think I found some really cool people, man. Some of those guys I can't let them slip through. And I think for the most part, I haven't let anybody slip through who is making it up or is dangerous or whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? So I think I've done a pretty good job as far as that's concerned. Couple things I want to address here. I think it was Lil T. Okay, yeah, I think it was Lil T asked in the chat about what are some Bible references on divining or divination that she can share with her husband, so because he thinks all of that is evil. I've been talking about that. I'm working on a teaching or whatever. I'm just getting all my notes together. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on it, but I'll give you the scriptures because obviously we're talking about religion. Most Christians will believe it if you can show it to them in the Bible. Like if you can show it to them that it's there in the text, they can read it for themselves, and then that's how they believe. So I'll give you a couple scriptures here that you can read for yourself and then share with him. But some of the ones that I've wrote down here, I'll give them to you. You can go back and write these down if you don't have a paper and pen. But Proverbs 16:33 talks about the lot is cast into the lap, but its every decision is from the Lord. The disciples practiced a form of divination called the casting of lots. It was done in the Old Testament. It's like drawing straws and the rolling of the dice, and it's actually called cleromancy, where they can roll these dice or throw bones. There's so many different forms of it, and one form is tarot cards of using divination, or what is called the casting of lots. The disciples did it in Acts chapter 2, I believe it was. Acts chapter 1. This is the next scripture. Acts 1:26. And they drew lots for them, and they fell on Matthias, and he was numbered with the 11 apostles. So they had to get a new apostle, and they didn't know who to pick. There was two guys. They had to pick 12. They had to keep it at 12. There's some interesting information about the government of 12 and how many people that you can pour into of only being 12 people, and why Jesus chose 12 disciples, and not getting into the astral theology part of the 12 signs of the zodiac, 12 months of the year, 12 tribes, all of that stuff all coincides. But Acts 1:26 is the New Testament reference. There's some other good ones. Genesis chapter 30, verse 27. But Laban said unto him, If I have found favor in your eyes, please stay. I have learned by divination that the Lord has blessed me because of you. He added, Name your wages and I will pay them. So it says that he learned through practicing divination that the Lord, Yahweh, has blessed him because of him dealing with Jacob there. So that's Genesis 30:27. Also Genesis 44:15. Joseph said to them, What is this that you have done? Don't you know that a man like me can find things out by divination? This is Joseph, who was a follower of Yahweh, someone who's trained in all the ways of Israel and Egypt as well, and he uses divination to find things out. And these are different practices that can be done. And the key to divination is intention. As a man thinketh in his heart, so shall it be. It is evil in your eyes if it's evil only in your eyes. Like people demonize what they don't understand, and so us here in the West, we demonize the term divination. So I've got a bunch of more notes here, but I want to share this maybe in a particular video or podcast episode or whatever that is just dedicated to getting that out, and I'm trying to see what's the best medium for that to work. So I will say that I do have something to promote. I have a new album coming out. The pre-orders are available now, so people who want to support the work and support my music, you can go and purchase the pre-order. Every copy will be autographed. There's also, if you do a pre-order, you'll be entered into a contest to receive a big wall tapestry with the album promo art on it. It looks really cool. You can see all that on the website too. So the new album is entitled Seer. There is a new video that just dropped yesterday to promote the song Alpha, and so we shot the video and I edited and did all the work myself. That's available. Make sure you go watch that. I think it's pretty cool. And then, like I said as well, the album is to be released on April the 20th, 4/20. We'll be doing an album release party here in Mobile, Alabama. If you guys want to check out hotels or something like that and come hang out with us and celebrate the release of this album, we're gonna be doing a concert for that. So the concert is free. Check it out. TruthSeekah.com. All the information is there. Again, thank you to everybody who's supporting my work on Patreon. Patreon is 100% the best way to promote my work, to promote the podcast, my music, and essentially my family, to help me to continue doing what I'm doing. I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I'm in a weird in-between place right now to see if this is going to work out, to be able to do it full-time, trying to get my bills as low as I can and trying to make money off of my music and different ways. I do graphic art and things like that. So to see if it's going to pan out. So, and I think it is, man. I think it is. There is that fear and there's that doubt that likes to kick in, but every time I continue my faith and trusting in God and what he's doing in my life, miracles come out the woodwork. You know what I'm saying? I get blessings from people who are donating with money or sending me work to build a website or whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? So just I'm excited about the future and everything that's happening with this podcast, reaching so many new people who are listening. There's so many people who I've tried to reach out to, bigger names, to get on the show, and I've heard no response, and this has been months. Now their publicists are reaching out to me, wanting them to come on the show and want me to share their links on my website and things like that for new albums and big name artists and stuff. So we're in talks with some bigger names to come on the show, and I'm excited. We're pushing close to episode number 100, which would be really cool to have one of those bigger names as the 100th episode. I want it to be somebody big. I just interviewed Carrie Cassidy last week. I'm probably going to make that live maybe tomorrow, but I'm going to get that edited and posted up. I interviewed Carrie Cassidy. She, like, it was crazy. Her fan base is all kind of gravitated towards what I'm doing and sent me all kind of loving messages, and they was able to see her in another light. Because, like, if you listen to a lot of the Project Camelot stuff, which I've been into at the beginning of my awakening and stuff, and so it was just an honor to have her on my show. And then, like, a week before, I was on her show, so it was an honor to do that. But there's usually tension there when you have an agenda or you have a belief system. And I used to have that tension, like I said, when I was dealing with religion, and you had to believe that this is how everything works. And I have friends who are still there. They have to be right about everything. And the Bible says, can two walk together unless they agree? So to them, that means if you disagree on anything, then you guys can't build together or be friends. And it gets really weird and sectarian and I'm right, you're wrong type deal. So it was beautiful to get those comments of people just enjoying to see Carrie Cassidy laugh, to see her smile, and be excited to do an interview versus like having your guard up. So it was really fun. And I'll say this, if you've watched those interviews, go back and watch the interview of me on her show, and then come back and watch the interview of her on my show and look at the countenance. So I say that I totally noticed it, but I'm getting a lot of messages from her fan base thanking me for validating her work and just seeing her have fun and smile and things like that. So all the new listeners, man, who are listening now because of, you know, the work that we're doing and being consistent, welcome aboard, man. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. And if you're listening this long, we're 2 hours and 22 minutes into this podcast. If you're sticking around for this long, there's something that resonates with you, man. If you guys find this show valuable, if you're able to, I would ask you to please support via Patreon at any level of giving per month, man. It helps me to continue to do this. You get exclusive podcasts. You get my full discography, which is 10 plus albums. There's some good music on there, I heard. Check it out. Also, all the new music that I'm releasing now for the new album. I'm promoting the new album, but if you're a patron, like, you already got the new album. Because every time I get done with something, it's uploaded straight to Patreon. So everybody who gives, you guys get access to that. You also get access to the School of the Mystics. And so essentially what that is, we're building a community here every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central. We're meeting on Zoom and building with the community, and we're talking about spiritual issues. We're discussing topics, and I'm getting to meet you guys, which is really cool. We're getting to hang out for usually around 2 hours of just talking, just being there. If people need prayer, we pray. If people just need somebody to talk to, we just show up. And so like, many people are just displaced. Obviously, a lot of people listen to this come out of religion, or they're in a church and they've had experiences or encounters that they've been told to demonize, but just deep down within them, they feel like it's not bad. And that could be something as little as having a beer, right? Like somebody who enjoys drinking a beer at a party or listening to a different type of music. I don't care what it is. There's so much weird stuff that goes on in churches and stuff, and you feel like an outcast, and you can't talk about this stuff. This is what this podcast is doing, and it's awesome to hear your stories. I get emails daily. I try to respond to each and every one. So if you guys want to reach out, feel free to do that. But I get the messages, man, and I see the fruit in the work that's being done. So thank you guys for supporting my work. Patreon.com/TruthSeekah. You can support that way. Also, I'm getting a lot of comments and messages of people asking me about the books that I'm into. They want to know books that have blessed me, books that I recommend or whatever. And so there's a couple different ways that I can share some of these books with you. If you go to TruthSeekah.com, you can buy physical copies there. I have a link to a page that I'm affiliated with that I get a kickback from every book that's purchased there. But there's probably 8 or 9 books there that really have helped me out on my journey, and you can get those links there. Also through Audible. If you go to audibletrial.com/TruthSeekah, there, if you sign up for an account, you get a free audiobook download, and some of the books that I've mentioned are there as well. One big one is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Changed my life. I'm doing what I'm doing today because of that book. Another one is The Final Quest by Rick Joyner. Those books are available via the Audible trial as well. You can download those books there. Those books changed my life, man. I definitely recommend them. And it's funny too, because as I'm recommending them to different friends who are on their spiritual journey, I'm getting to see what it's doing to them. It's awesome to like share The Alchemist with somebody and then see what it does to them, or share the book by Rick Joyner. My friend Chris Bars, he's just got done reading that whole series, and his life's turned upside down now, of synchronicities and spirituality, and going to these deeper levels of understanding how God works to us and speaks to us and through us and things like that. It's beautiful to see that stuff. So make sure you check that stuff out. It supports my work. I get a good kickback on Audible. So audibletrial.com/TruthSeekah, and sign up there. And that's pretty much it, man. There's all kind of, man, I got CDs and T-shirts and all that stuff. I get a kickback on all that. So those are ways that you can support where you get stuff back versus just sending me money or something like that. So and if you have no money you can't give, just simply share the interviews, share the music and stuff. All of that helps out. Go check out that new video and leave me a comment, send me an email. Love you guys. With that, I'm going to say peace and shalom. Oh, I'll be back tonight, too, with another interview. I was kind of under the weather yesterday, and I was supposed to be a guest on a podcast, and I wasn't able to do it. And then and I had another show that I was supposed to do with Joshua Fluman, but we're going to do that tonight. So I think it's 7 p.m. Central tonight. We'll be back. I love you guys. Peace and shalom. Peace.
Your way so much higher than mine, so much higher than mine, so much deeper than mine, so much deeper than mine.
Well, that does it for this episode, folks. To hear more episodes of the TruthSeekah podcast, head over to TruthSeekah.com. And if you're wanting to support the show and get rewards, go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/TruthSeekah.